Okay, that looks good. And that's alright. Hello, everyone. My name is Caden. Welcome back to more Ace Attorney Chronicles. Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. I can't not yawn as well either. Grip. Anyways, last time we finished off the fourth case of the first game, and we are now doing the final case of the final case of the first game of the two. Yeah, I got nothing else to say really. Let's continue. Back in Sholmes Suite with a very depressed Sholmes and Nyers. Anyways, I know I haven't explored everything here. The fire's burning comfortably in the grate again today. It's a very different feeling to a Japanese hibachi somehow.
Oh, look at that photographic print of the lady displayed on the mantelpiece. Could it be?
Hold on. Could it be who?
Yes, it must be. It's the woman. Oh, how exciting.
Is that supposed to mean something to me? What? Let's see. What else? Save you for last, Iris. Look at Mr. Shum's desk. It's completely clear. Isn't that enormous machine usually on it?
We can never hope to understand what goes on in the great detective's mind, Mr. Naruhodo. Why, next time we're invited, we may find he's vacated the entire suite.
That's scarily plausible, actually. We don't have a place to live in that case. Why have you shot VR into the ceiling? Ah, yes. The letters V and R inscribed on the wall in bullet holes. Isn't it the initials of the Queen or something?
It's so delightful seeing it in the flesh, having read about it in stories. It's so inspiring. I fired 100 arrows into my own wall at home to make the character for Susa, you know.
Super? Perhaps there's some things the Great Detective does that you don't need to copy. What else? There's a globe. There's all sorts of arts on these shelves. Chemistry apparatuses, books, papers, and lots of things I've never seen before. It's all heaped up so high I can't help feeling that the whole lot is going to topple over at any minute.
Oh, it's such a charmingly untidy collection of paraphernalia, isn't it?
It just looks messy to me, like my desk.
But you, Mr. Naruhodo, must learn to tidy up after yourself.
No favoritism there, then. What? Anything else? Windows? Light? No, I think. Alright, let's talk to Iris then. Laga hi. Mr. Natsume's cat seems to have settled in to his new home then.
Oh, yes. And I've become very attached to the little Waggy.
It would appear his previous owner is completely forgotten about him. Cats are unfeeling creatures, their muse is empty as the hearts of the muses.
No. If Mr. Natsume had no intention of taking Waggy back to Japan, I wonder why he kept him in the first place.
I expect he would have taken him if he could. But pets are strictly forbidden aboard steamships in our experience.
And for good reason. Terrible things can happen if the rules of passage are not obeyed. Well, I don't mind, because Waggy is adorable. Meh.
Your baby. Yes, he really is. Oh yes, what about the door? I don't remember seeing that tiny thing in the main door before. Where'd that come from?
Oh, you noticed? You are observant, Bruno. Look, I use this. It's my latest invention.
What? What is that?
I call it the cat flomat. Gosh, a machine for making doors just for cats? That's right. It can make a cat flap for a little furry friend like Waggy in seconds. And it can do it in any door at all, no matter what it's made of. It's very powerful, you see.
Wouldn't it have been quicker just to make the cat flap rather than make a machine to make the cat flap?
Well, yes, maybe. Now I can make cat flaps anywhere I like. Oh, I think it's wonderful. You must make one for us in the door of our office upstairs, Iris.
She really knows how to come up with unconventional inventions, this girl. Well, that's all you have to say. Mr. Sholmes, look at my armband. Can I ask your opinion about this? You lure me to raise my languid head with the promise of some mental exaltation. Yet in my morbid depression, I am confronted with the most mundane of problems. Oh. My mind finds greater stimulations in the unforgiving monotony of the floor than in your miserable offering. Well, glad to help. Oh, my head weighs heavy on my shoulders. Hey, Shums, let's talk. Why don't you die? You seem to be very unhappy this morning, Mr. Shums. What's happened? It used to be the case that in my hands, this violin sung like the dawn chorus, its melodiant tones would make flowers bloom. It would? But now, the muses are unamused with me. The goddess of music has thrown me over.
Whatever do you mean, Mr. Shums?
For hours I have bowed, yet for days even. Through the night I've endeavored to no avail. That sound to my tone is lost. That brilliant, clear, unwavering tone.
Gone forever. I have no more recitals of unbridled emotion. Well, you haven't been practicing much lately, have you, Hurley?
Don't worry, I'm sure it'll come back to you in time. Heed my words, Mr. Naruhodo. The gods of the arts are fickle. One day they bestow genius on a man, the next they unmercifully withdraw it. Oh. Dear.
Why is this happening to me? If they take the turn I have the violin from me, what is left, for pity's sake? What is left?
Deduction perhaps? Isn't that what you're known for?
Mr. Sholmes, I don't like to pry, but your desk looks rather empty today.
Well done, Miss Susato. Your observational skills do you credit.
Oh no, Mr. Sholmes, they pale in insignificance when compared to yours.
You'd struggle not to notice, wouldn't you?
You mean Hurley's great analysis scope? That's at Windibank's now.
Sorry? Is that the Windy Bank?
No, Windibank's, the pawnbrokery. Pawn? What?
You mean you've pawned that enormous machine of yours? It has some considerable value, you see, quite undeservingly.
But isn't it a very important machine for your work? I do wish you had consoled us if your situation had become so desperate. I would have gladly passed what little income I have to you.
Dear madam, things are far from desperate.
But the pawnbrokery has your wonderful machine. How can it be anything but desperate?
Making use of a pawnbrokery is quite ordinary here in London, I assure you. It is? It doesn't sound ordinary at all. It would seem that neither of you fully understand how pawnbroking works. Oh. What's to understand exactly? How does pawnbroking work, Mr. Sholmes? What did you mean when you said we didn't fully understand how pawnbroking works? Broking. To the people of London, pawnbrokeries are akin to banks.
Banks?
On Mondays, merchants relinquish their finest jackets and trappings to their pawnbrokery of choice. With the money they receive in return, they are able to trade happily through the week.
And then on Saturdays, they go to recover their things using the money they've earned. I had no idea. This has been a fascinating lesson for us. Everyone does it, you see? Especially people in the inner London.
And should they have money to spare, they would purchase another fine jacket. Not to wear, obviously, but to pawn, should the need arise.
Oh, how ingenious. So whenever we have something that's getting in the way, we leave it at Windibanks, you see.
A pawnbrokery can be thought of as an extremely secure vault. Who would have thought that even pawnbrokers are different here in Great Britain?
Of course, you have to watch Hurley with it. Sometimes he pawns things he really shouldn't. Don't you, Hurley?
What does it matter? The world is dead to me now. Okay, Shubs. App cat.
Oh, what was that?
Wagga hi. Ah! What was that?
Oh no! What guy's tangled up in your violin? I think he thinks it's a toy.
No! What's he doing to it?
Oh dear, Mr. Schultz's precious violin.
Why should I care? What? I shouldn't be surprised. If the cat is a more accomplished musician than I now.
Mr. Sholmes really is in poor spirits, isn't he? Well, anyway, I'll put it back where it lives, shall I, Hurley?
Out of the cat's reach if possible. Maybe we should assess the damage. There it is. So, this is the violin, is it? It's a Stradivarius, one of the finest violins in the world, made by the renowned Italian luthier Antonio Stradivari. Oh, I see. It doesn't really look like anything special to me. I happened upon it covered in dust, languishing in a pawn shop down a nondescript back alley. The broker had no idea of its value, so I was able to purchase it for a mere 55 shillings. How honorable of you.
And until today, have been my faithful companion in every great Paganini-inspired performance I have made. And I ask you, is there a reason to live in a world devoid of music, to tolerate this blanched existence? No! There's none.
Mr. Sholmes.
What, dear madam, what? My thoughts are preoccupied with fancies of release from this dull routine.
Well, it's about the violin. It looks very different to normal, don't you think?
Oh, is this not even his? What do you mean, Mrs. Otto?
Oh, Susie's right. Yes, the tone of the wood is completely different. And that's not all. I'm sure there was no crack here before.
Wait, it's not even the right size, is it? What's this?
I'm terribly sorry to have to tell you this, Mr. Sholmes, but that instrument isn't a violin at all. Then what? I believe it's an entirely different instrument called a viola. What? Mr. Sholmes, are you right?
You're right! You're quite right! This isn't my faithful Stradivarius! So what, pray, is this piece of string flotsam?
Not your faithful performing partner, then.
I see what must have happened.
You do, Iris?
This is just a simple mix-up.
Sounds like Iris might be able to tell us exactly what's happened if we ask her. Iris. Mix up. What do you mean by a mix-up virus?
Well, you see, this violin... Sorry, this viol... What did I mean? Was at Windibanks until last week. At the pawnbrokers.
Not Mr. Shum's beloved musical partner. There's a proverb from the East, with which you are no doubt familiar, my dear fellows. Always let a beloved child travel.
Ah, yes, indeed.
So you send your beloved violin to the pawnbrokers and hope that it would experience personal growth?
Oh, what a wonderful idea.
Last week, I pawned my great analytoscope in order to release my precious instrument. But it would appear Mr. Windibank mistakenly furnished me with this tawdry fiddle instead. But my ears cannot be deceived by the hollow timbre of this piece of timber. No, but your every sense was deceived by the fact that it just had strings. Pshaw, a fine state of affairs this is. And why I always say, Mr. Naruhodo, never trust a pawnbroker. They will try to fiddle you every time.
But earlier you told us that you could think of a pawnbroker as an extremely secure vault.
Indecisiveness. Come, Miss Naruhodo, dilly-dallying will get you nowhere. Sorry? Crunching your toast with a vacant aspect, pressing your coffee so obtusely. Are you not a little embarrassed by your own conduct, considering the urgency of which we are faced?
You must visit Mr. Windibank's brokery at once, that's right. Isn't it, Mr. Sholmes?
Precisely, Miss Susato, without a moment's delay. But I haven't finished my bacon and eggs. My dear fellow, surely you do not still intend to crunch your bacon with an increasingly vacant aspect, but to press your eggs ever more obtusely. Alright, say no more, let's go then.
Don't worry, Bruno. I'd be happy to eat it up for you again later.
Oh, thank you, Iris. As it happens, I am rather curious to see what a British pawnbroker's looks like. Alrighty then. Let's get out of here. Let's start at Baker Street, why not? What all can I see here? It's already been 2 months since we started taking lodgings here above Mr. Sholmes' office. I still can't quite believe it. I never expected things would turn out like this.
Oh, I know. To actually be sharing accommodation with the world's greatest detective. If I ever find myself in a court of law now, I'll have not one regret.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I'd be happy to defend you, of course. Assuming you're innocent. Otherwise, don't bother. What? What? No! Thank you. Look at all the different things in the window of the shop.
Oh, that's the Windibanks. The pawnbrokery.
It looks much smarter than the pawnbrokers in Japan, doesn't it?
Yes, you're right. I find pawn shops at home rather inapproachable, personally.
Reminds me of tearfully parting with my favorite fountain pen. It felt so miserable.
What doesn't kill us makes us stronger, Mr. Naruhodo.
I love that pen. Alright. A British pawnbrokers. Windibank's pawnbrokery. So, this is a British pawnbrokery.
Oh my, there are all sorts of tools and contraptions here that I've never laid eyes on before.
Ah, Susato-san. And that spark of wonder in your eyes, you can't wait to scour the shelves, can't you? I get the impression you enjoy places like this.
Oh yes, I don't know why, but seeing such a lot of things I don't understand is a real thrill for me.
My dear fellows, let us not forget why we are here.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes.
You changed your outfit.
Well, we are calling on matters of business, not pleasure.
And clearly Mr. Sholmes means business too, judging from the spark of fury in his eyes. Ah, Mr. Sholmes, sir. Welcome back.
Did you hear that brazen welcome?
Well, yes, we are potential customers after all.
You're disgruntled customers, Mr. Naruto, and it's time to involve Mr. Winterbank of our ire.
Come, the fight is afoot.
Hi. I'm going to inspect. What's this?
What are you doing, dear fellows? We are here to browse for interesting curios. We have come to teach this broker a lesson.
Oh, there are just so many fascinating items.
This is we'll have to talk to Mr. Winterbank first before you can explore in here, Mr. Sato. Oh, okay. Boop. Look at it! Mr. Winterbank, about this?
Let me see. I'll give you a tuppence for it.
No, I don't want to pawn it. Sir, violin.
Naturally, you will recall this, which I retrieved from you some days ago.
Yes.
The second-rate fiddle is not my faithful instrument, Mr. Winterbank. The color of the wood is different. It has holes in it. It's not even the same size. A wonderful summary of our observations, Mr. Sholmes.
I'm so sorry, sir. How utterly unforgivable of me. An inexcusable mistake for a pawnbroker. There's only one way to make amends. Running away. Hey, I don't have to take my own life.
I don't think that will be necessary. Do you?
If I may just say one thing before I pop off.
Yes.
It was you, sir, Mr. Sholmes, who took it upon himself to remove the item the other day. I believe.
Sorry?
As I recall, I entered the storeroom to fetch your violin when I heard, here it is.
You did?
And when I turned to controvert you, you had taken the violin and left, sir. However, there can be no doubt that the blame lies firmly on my own door for allowing you to leave. So I shall not grumble or grouse any longer. May this guild die with me.
No, it's all mine. It's all mine.
Thank you. Ugh.
It would appear that the fight is over. I do humbly apologize, Mr. Winterbank. Evidently, my questionable disposition precipitated this tragedy.
Well, you wouldn't leave Mr. Harlock Sholmes without that questionable disposition now, would you?
I do believe you may be right, sir.
It's either laugh or cry, I suppose. You are, must be said, one of my more challenging customers. I need to remind you of the peculiar collection of items you brought through my door in the past.
Oh? Peculiar items.
In the extreme, ma'am. For example, the unpublished manuscript of an eponymous work, the novels of Harlock Sholmes or some such.
Oh my, a new full-fledged novel. Unpublished. A story I've yet to read, you mean.
Forgive me.
Wait, before you die, you must tell me more.
Okay, just put the gun down, please. Is it even real? I imagine it's just a fake one. I don't know. Maybe, hopefully. I'm gonna go with the fake. I wonder, can I ask you something? Gentleman from the east, I see. Yes, that's sable soup. I suppose I could offer you a sixpence for it. Without wishing to offend, the tone is somewhat dull.
Sorry?
Aha! But you're splendid as high, ma'am. 5 guineas, no less. The colors are exquisite, the design exotic. Eastern artistry at its finest, may I say.
Oh my, 5 guineas, you say? How interesting.
Why do I feel as though I've suffered some sort of defeat here? Actually, I was hoping to ask you about your business. I've heard it's said that pawnbrokers are used rather like banks here in London. Yes, sir, indeed. Many of my customers utilize the establishment as you described. I appraise their items and offer them a proportionate loan and 2 months of secure stowage. If in that time they repay the original sum to me plus the agreed interest, the items are happily returned.
But what happens if they don't pay your money?
Then the items are offered for sale in my shop, as you can see on the shelf behind me. Okay, interesting.
So you never sell items before the 2 months have passed then?
That's right, ma'am. That's right. Which means some considerable responsibility rests on my shoulders. Should a customer's precious belongings be lost, recoup the only recompense is for me to end it all. The very idea, Mr. Winterbank, is an absurdity. One should never talk of one's demise so casually. This is the man who was telling us it was a good day to die only this morning. And let's not forget that I have already helped you take measures to ensure such a tragedy never occurs. Oh, what sort of measures? I introduced a simple device which Mr. Winterbank has installed here in his shop. I call it the red-handed recorder. Is that not so, Mr. Winterbank? Is that not so, Mr. Winterbank? What's that deep sigh about? What about this unpublished story?
I must know one more. Tell me everything.
Wow, Susawa-san is really fired up now.
Is there really an unpublished story under this very roof?
Well, one day the gentleman here brought an old metal chest, you see. I should like to entrust this to your care for a while, Mr. Winterbank. For a chest like that, 1 shilling, sir. Not a farthing more. It houses something of a very great value indeed. The latest manuscript, recounting the adventures of one of Mr. Herlock Sholmes. I beg your pardon, a manuscript? You wish to deposit a manuscript? Indeed I do, for I am confident it will be quite safe here. And it was that, and that was that. As such, Mr. Sholmes' latest tale of the eye-rolling mystery lies dormant in my storeroom. Mr. Sholmes, is that really true? Do I sense that someone doesn't want to talk about this? I continue to pay your fee, do I not? Then kindly store my belongings securely. Of course, sir. Of course. The safe is up with me, I assure you, on my life. This is all very strange. What on earth is a red-handed recorder? Use your eyes, my dear fellow. There are 2 just below the ceiling.
I can see what appears to be a camera attached to some sort of timing device.
Can you actually see it in the room? Or no? As far as I can tell, no. Very astute. It is indeed a camera furnished with some 100 pieces of celluloid film. And every 30 minutes, precisely, the camera automatically records the appearance of the shop. Here, I have an example I can show you. Ah, yes, a print from the camera set to record the activity at the shop counter. This is at 4 a.m. Doggy! Is there anything weird about this photo aside from the skull? There's a door back here, but I think you can see that normally anyways, but... Cat... Lamp... I developed a special type of film so sensitive it produces a crystal clear image even in darkness. Really? That's extraordinary.
Yes, you can clearly see the counter and the door behind it. Look. So you see, were someone to enter the premises with ill intent, his identity would be summarily exposed. But did you not say the photographic prints were taken at 30-minute intervals?
Indeed, as you say, my dear madam.
Then what if the incident were to occur in between times?
One could only say that it would be a cruel twist of fate. I must confess your device has been giving me some cause for distress of late.
I beg pardon, Mr. Winterbank. Surely they are anything but distressing.
Reassuring is the word. It's the cost of film, sir. You most graciously placed not one but 2 cameras in my shop after all. Which means I must pay for nigh on 100 and utterly useless prints every single day. I'm afraid the cost of film will break me before I'm very much older.
Nevertheless, a small price to pay to ensure the safety of my preferred pawnbrokery, no? My dear fellows, where you verge on an age where safety and security come at a price.
Oh, heaven help us! Now then, Mr. Sholmes, allow me to return your precious violin.
Oh, the very thing! Thank you, Mr. Windbank.
Perhaps this might mark the end of the peculiar items you try to pop, Because if anything were to happen to one of them, this would be the only answer.
I really think you ought to stop waving that gun around. Someone could get hurt.
Fear not.
Sorry?
I've only loaded a single bullet, so no one but myself can possibly be harmed.
That's not really what I meant. Good day to you then, Mr. Winterbank.
It's been a pleasure as always, Mr. Sholmes.
Well, so, Mr. Naruhodo, now we can explore at last.
Huh?
Calendar. That's not a calendar you could easily miss, is it? 15th of April, today's date.
Yeah, it's not for sale, I must point out. It's an Eastern-style page-a-day calendar. Every night at midnight, I'd tear off the front page to reveal the following day's date.
The perfect calendar for a tearaway fellow such as yourself, Mr. Winterbank. And who is it who walked out of here with the wrong violin before?
Well, when there's a greed store, each period has passed without repayment, articles are forfeited, you see. So I have to keep a close eye on the date. It's something of a pawnbroker's obsession, you might say.
Oh yes, I can see you're very dedicated to your job. Now what do you suppose this rather enormous machine does? It seems to have 2 little windows for looking through. Allow me to enlighten you, my dear fellows. What you are looking at is a stereoscope. A stereoscope? Fascinating. It is aptly named, I assure you. Look for the eyepieces and you see for yourself. Oh, I should be delighted to. Excuse me a moment while I just have a look. Just before you do, there's something I should point out. My dear fellows, in order to see the image properly, stereoscopically, as it were, you will need to be cross-eyed. However, if that is beyond you, it is of little consequence today. Alright then, I'm gonna try it. Mr. Naruhodo, you must see, at once. Oh, alright then. So I need to be cross-eyed, like I'm trying to look at my own nose. What the? I don't believe it. Wow. It's like it pops out at you. I don't believe it. It's just a photographic print, but it seems like you could reach out and touch it. Yes, the sense of depth is startling, is it not? Stereoscopes are one of London's many fads. They are often found in little stalls and parks. People queue for hours to see them. Why? Why are people meddling with such black magic? It is no magic, my dear madam. It is, well, far too complicated to explain at present. We shall save this lesson for another day. Oh. Look at this. Whatever could this be used for?
I have no idea.
Ah. There's a small catch just here, look.
We're going to open it, aren't we? What?
Oh my, that's amazing! Some sort of spring-loaded mechanism.
Which we'll never manage to put back the way it was before. What are you two doing? Nothing. No, nothing at all. Wherever this device is, it seems to have a pair of little windows to look through. I feel as though I've seen something rather similar to this elsewhere. You mean the thing we literally just looked at?
What an assortment of things there are on shelves here. Crockery, footwear, clocks and watches. Almost anything you care to imagine.
Those are forfeited items offered for sale by the pawnbroker. What does that really mean, though? When you pawn, quotably pop, an item, the broker loans you money against its worth. He stores the items for an agreed period of time, after which the loan must be repaid. If not, he is free to display it in his shop for sale, at a price of his choosing. Oh yeah, now you've explained it, I'm noticing little price tags on everything. Of course, simply by paying the agreed interest on the loan, one can extend the period of safekeeping. So, you may pawn that black garb of yours without fear, my dear fellow. My treasured university uniform? Never. It embodies my student spirit. Surprised you can't look up there. Clock.
Look at this. What could this lovely big shiny box be?
That, my dear madam, is a music box. Surely you have such things in your own country.
Oh my, yes, but I've certainly never seen one so large before.
Shall we listen a while?
Ah, what a sublime sound. It's like the music of angels.
Never heard anything like it before in my life. This particular specimen is of the large variety, commonly found in public houses and restaurants. There is a metal disc inside on which the notes to be played are recorded. Simply by replacing the disc with another, any music you care to imagine can be played.
My goodness, what a simply delightful machine.
Indeed. Though the popularity has waned recently, with the development of the gramophone, of course.
Science and technology advance at such an overwhelming pace.
Only if tuppence for it ain't fair, and you know it. Our goal's barely worth a penny miss, I cannot offer more. Sounds like there's an argument brewing over by the counter. That can't be right. Have you heard? Oh, wait. I think I know who it is.
Come on, now. That can't be right. Have you even had a proper butcher's at it?
Seen all I need to see, young girl. Yeah. Hey, Gina. Wait, don't we know? I'm sure I recognize her.
Oh, yes. It's the young lady from Mr. McGill's trial 2 months ago.
Your name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. Sees a chance to crust among large crowds, leaving people of their purses. What's commonly called a pickpocket. She got a gun. Go on, Bennett, you lot.
Hello, Miss Lestrade. I hope you've been well. Please do not shoot us.
What? You remember me then, do you? Well, I remember being completely surrounded by smoke, that's for sure.
So, what are you doing in here? Down and out like the rest of us. Nothing to eat. Come to pop the black weasel sock coat, have you?
What is it about this black uniform that makes everyone comment on it? Aw, good day.
Unless I'm much mistaken,
you would be the young pickpocket who stole our experimental smoke grenade launcher.
Mr. Sholmes.
So, you have something of value to pawn, do you?
Allow me to see the article, and I shall negotiate with Mr. Winterbank on your behalf. Pull the other one. I don't need no help other than I'm stuck up D. Get out of my business. Go on, I'll make trouble for you. As you wish, Miss Lestrade. I will happily remove myself from your presence.
What? He's really done it. He's gone. I'm sorry, but as I said, there really is no room for negotiation here. What's that thing he has in his hand? Some kind of metal disc?
On you! Go on, leave me alone! Oh, Miss Lestrade, just pretend we aren't here. We shan't be offended in the slightest.
Susana can really stand her ground when she wants to.
Whatever. Alright.
Somehow I didn't really think you were the sort of person to use a pawnbroker, Miss Lestrade.
Yeah, well, I am. Alright? I'm a London nurse, just like everyone else. That's a problem, is it?
No, not at all. It's just that, well...
Oh, I get it. I know what you're thinking. That thing probably don't even belong there. Probably got out on the dive, didn't she? Yeah, I can see it written all over your Chevy Chase.
Well, I might have been thinking something along those lines.
You're not going to deny it, Mr. Naruhodo?
Alright then, I'm just gonna come out and ask you straight. Do you pawn things that you steal from other people?
Well, I don't know how best to answer that, really,
Yes. No.
Suppose. Sometimes. You're not going to deny it either, Miss Lestrade? But not this time, alright? I swear. That thing belongs to me.
The disc that Mr. Winterbank is holding? Perhaps we should see what he has to say about all this. Miss Lestrade's disc.
Mr. Winterbank, what exactly is this metal disc that Miss Lestrade has brought in? It seems to have hundreds of tiny little bumps on the surface.
This is a music disc, you see, for use inside a music box. In a music box?
What? You don't even know what a music box is? You Easternall ain't too savvy, eh?
I know what a music box is, I've just never seen one of these discs before. The small intrusions on the middle disc encode the tune to be played by the music box. You simply insert the disc and set the machine going, and beautiful music plays.
It's so incredible. Tell us, what tune is on this disc?
Well, I'm afraid I couldn't tell you that. There's so many different types of music boxes, you see. British-made, German, Swiss. I have no way of knowing which particular machine this disc was made for. Ah, I see. And that's in a nutshell. I wouldn't have any customers for an item like this, even if the young lady forfeited it. Really, I'm already offering more than I should at a penny.
That's a pack of lies. You told me you did. You said it was, well...
He? Who?
Never you mind. It just ain't right, that's all. That disc's worth good money, I know it is.
Well then, you'll have to try a look at another pawnbrokers, won't you?
Ah.
What about Miss Lestrade? She's been in before, of course, this little tater demelion. I see. And brought some dubious article in with her. Every single time, I might add.
Dubious? What are you trying to say? I'm gonna want to custom me.
So, is there something dubious about the disc she brought in today? Well, if only were that simple.
Sorry? What do you mean?
What she actually brought in was a storage ticket.
Ah, a storage ticket. So, Mrs. Strade has actually come to redeem an article from you today, is that right? Yeah, that's right. A girl like me at a lost off of what needs stolen.
Alright, yes, that's definitely dubious. The article in question would have been forfeited at midnight tonight, but she gave me the ticket for it and repaid both the loan and the interest. I was obliged to return the article to her.
But what was the article? Do tell us, Mr. Winnebank.
Little scamp was wearing it, ma'am. Oh, the coat? It's the overcoat that she redeemed. Oh.
What? What's wrong with that? It fits, don't it? I mean, it's mine, so of course it does. So, what about the disc then? How's that coming to all this?
The disc is something else. A new article upon, if the girl and I can agree on a price. I'm confused. I thought you said that Miss Lestrade brought in a storage ticket today. It's really quite simple. Yes, the child brought me a storage ticket and the money owed on it, as you say. For this heavy black coat, which you returned her care, as I understood it. That's right, yeah. And rather unsurprisingly, as soon as the little rug muffin put the thing on, she went rifling through the pockets. Oh, you mean...
What? Don't you know it's the rooster lady? I see. So it came from the pocket of the overcoat, did it?
If you mean this disc, then yes, exactly, ma'am.
And she immediately tried to pawn it for quite a high price as well.
This is all rather suspicious, I think.
Give it up. I'm trying to pawn something like anyone else would. Miss Lestrade, may I ask who deposited the overcoat here in the first place? Well, me.
It doesn't really appear to be your size.
Me old man. It's me old man's, ain't it? Is it, Miss Lestrade?
Yeah, this is definitely all rather suspicious. Out of my way, please. Hello there. Who's this picture postcard English gentleman? He has a cane. He has a hat. Good day to you, ladies, gentlemen.
What's your problem, eh?
There's no problem, as long as you remove yourself. I have a matter to discuss with the proprietor.
And if you intend to make a problem of it,
I shall see you outside, little girl, for the hiding you deserve.
look, ain't it obvious? I ain't done talking with them yet. If you think you're such a gent, you shouldn't know how to wait in line. Well, you're an imprudent little brat, aren't you? As well as a pickpocket. Eh? Who are you? How do you know who I am? My question is, how do you not know who I am? You haven't the courtesy to even remember the faces of your victims, it seems. What? You mean not from you?
Broker. Yes, sir.
I believe this filthy pickpocket has just redeemed an article from you, no?
Yes, sir.
The article in question belongs to me. I demand for it to be returned at once. Oh my. Now that's a lie. What are you trying to pull? Give me back my overcoat, you rascal. And needless to say, I can dance. Any music box discs, too. No, you can't have it. You just can't. It's me old man. Oh, it was. Now it's mine. Goodness, Mr. Naruto. This is a very awkward situation.
Yeah. I think perhaps we should hear both sides of the story in a little more detail. Alright.
Mrs. Strade, is what the gentleman is saying... What do you think? It's all lies, ain't it? Obviously. I swear on my life, I ain't never laid eyes on that Danny before.
Let's hear it now, you little ragamuffin. You stole it, didn't you? That ticket you brought in here just now.
No, I swear to God. It was barely an hour ago. I was walking along the streets, minding my own business. When this little gutterling ran into me, I knew at once what had been happened. I've been robbed yet again, I thought to myself. Those wretched pickpockets.
Yet again?
Oh yes, as you can see, I'm a man of impeccable style. This isn't the first time I've been targeted by these backslum scoundrels.
Dance.
Now then, relinquish my overcoat. Ugh.
Come on now, Mr. Stride. Give the good gentleman his coat back. If you're going to cause trouble, I shall have no choice but to call police.
Hold on, why does everyone think it's me? Just look at this damn coat, and you think I'm the dodgy one.
I'm sorry, but no one's going to believe you.
But what about evidence? Yeah. Where's the evidence I've stolen something, eh? Come on, let's see it. Oh, I have evidence, naturally. You what?
Evidence.
Evidence that the Oracle Miss Lestrade redeemed actually belongs to this gentleman? Of course. We need only consult Mr. Windibank's ledger to know the truth. We'll be able to look up the name of the person who deposited the Oracle in the first place.
Yeah, brilliant. I'm very sorry, but I'm afraid that won't be possible.
Oh.
I never ask customer name. That's a strict policy of mine.
But why not?
Well, now, as you can imagine, some of my customers have circumstances to consider. A great many of them prefer to maintain their anonymity.
Yes, I see. But then, how can you know if an article belongs to the person asking to redeem it then?
Oh, it's quite simple. Good sir, might I trouble you for the watchword associated with the article in question?
Of course. It's... Professor.
Yes, that's right. And all the evidence we need. This gentleman is the rightful owner of the article, without doubt.
A watchword? Interesting.
So, about the watchwords, Mr. Windibank. As I just explained, I never ask customers' names when they deposit items with me. There are many reasons why certain customers would like to keep their activities secret. Hi there, Mr. Shelms.
What do you have in your hand?
Okay. That wasn't exactly a subtle glance at Mr. Shelms now, was it?
Great detectives have no dark secrets, not at all.
Yes, well, anyway, that's why I always ask for a watchword whenever I accept a new article. In many ways, it's like a secret combination of numbers used to unlock a vault. The day of deposit, description, and a watchword uniquely identify each item. And of course, I give the storage ticket to the customer. When someone comes to redeem something, I ask for the ticket and the watchword. And if someone tells you the correct watchword, you'll return the article? That's right, sir. Yeah, just as soon as the requisite fee is paid.
And I have supplied you with the information you require already, but for the avoidance of doubt, the article in question is an overcoat, deposited 2 months ago, on 15th of February. With the watchword of Professor.
All perfectly correct information, sir.
But how? Really? This is beyond a joke now. There's no further room for doubt. Hi there.
Excuse me, but who are you?
One would expect the inquirer to introduce himself first. Though clearly you are not British, so perhaps a way of foreign to you.
Oh, sorry. Yes, we're from the Empire of Japan. We're studying here.
Oh, yes, Japan. I've heard talk of the place.
I can dance.
Its inhabitants live on some fiery brown-colored soup, dressed up in exotic spices.
You might be thinking of somewhere else. What was that theatrical gesticulation just about?
Perhaps. Anyway, if you are a gentleman, sir, you offer your own name first, before inquiring
after the name of another. Of course, yes. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a lawyer. Well, a student of law, really.
My name is Salamiko Toba. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's assistant.
I see. My name is Benedict. Yes, Eggert Benedict. Enchante. He's so refined in how he holds himself and how he speaks, but that name is suspicious. Now to the matter at hand. What? My overcoat. Return it at once to someone with the style to carry it off.
Nah. Every move he makes, every breath he takes, can't stand watching him.
So, let that be an end to the matter. And thank you for your custom, Mr. Eggert Benedict, sir.
With such reasonable rates of interest, I may even decide to come back. That's why I hate grown-ups. Just call me a diver. Everyone thinks that makes me a liar. And the contents of the coat pockets, if you please, broker.
But of course, sir. Here's a disc for you. Just the one. Just the one. Pardon, sir? I was expecting another. That is, I deposited another disc. Oh, no dear. I regret to inform you, sir, that what was deposited was merely the overcoat. The disc happened to be in one of the pockets, but I was completely unaware of it until now. So, Guttling, you're hiding more of what's rightfully mine, are you?
Says who? I know nothing about it.
Very well. Then I shall bid you farewell. Say goodbye to style.
Wait a minute, the desk is mine.
What?
What do you think you're doing, you little tramp? Draw blood, you filthy animal. Oh my, yes. There's some blood on the disc.
It's because of all those sharp little bumps. The man must have scratched his finger on them.
I found first, alright? Now, it belongs to me, old man. So you're not having it. Or you take it. Me? If I hang on to it, they'll have it off me again, so you keep all of it.
Mr. Strati, why is this disc so important to her? A metal disc used to play music in a mechanical music box. The piece of music which remains identified is stored on the disc by means of small protrusions.
You there, in the black library. Hand that disc to me at once, please. No, don't! He's lying. Grown-ups are all liars.
What do I do now? How am I going to resolve this? Is Shums still playing on the thing? He is! Shums, help me! Mr. Shums. What are you examining with such keen interest there? As you enjoy a bar of caramel, I see. So, you found me at last, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry? After that young pickpocket sent me on my way, I was forced to lurk in the shadows. Cruelly ostracized as the rest of you partook in the jovial atmosphere of fellowship. I had nothing to occupy my mind, but was too ashamed to let society see what my downfall had done to me. So feeling mock interest, I pretended to examine the tedious trinkets in this desolate place. Whilst, as you shrewdly observed, gnawing on the only friend I have left, the 7% solution of caramel. Pray, do not claim to understand the depths of my despair, Mr. Naruhodo. How could you? I was so lonely, so desperately lonely. Then why on earth didn't you rejoin the conversation? Things have gone from bad to worse here, you know. Yes, I overheard much of your conversation. Or rather, in my craving for human contact, my ears devoured every word that was added. You really were sad, weren't you?
Mr. Shums, I simply feel awful for you.
It would seem that my inferences are correct.
Oh, surely you're not about to tell us. And you solved the entire case once again.
My dear madam, sometimes I wonder, will my genius for dedication be commoditized? How much would I pawn it off for? It seems Mr. Sholmes has had another of his flashes of inspiration. But who knows if it will help resolve the situation between Miss Lestrade and the mysterious gentleman. What's the right thing to do here? Let's listen. Well, Mr. Lestrade, it would appear you find yourself in something of a predicament.
Where the blue blazes have you been, eh?
Pardon?
When the lady's in trouble, a true gent's supposed to be there to help. Straight away, up! Not an hour later.
Harsh. And who, pray tell, are you? Mr. Egbert Benedict, you have, in my eyes, a very encyclopedic array of curiosities about your person. Nevertheless, there are two immovable conclusions I have drawn. I beg your pardon. The first is this. The true reason for your visit to this pawnbrokery today is something you have not yet revealed. And the second is this. A considerable crime is in contemplation, one you will orchestrate with intent to steal a vast sum of money. Well, Mr. Benedict, what say you to my deductions?
How?
He's turned white as a hard-boiled egg.
It would seem that once again, Mr. Sholmes made a flawless deduction.
Just who do you think you are, sir?
Ah, yes, as I hoped. That is precisely the pain expression I was looking for. Let's dance this dance again.
So, shall we begin?
The time has come for yet another Herlock Sholmes, logic and reasoning spectacular. The Great Deduction. The game is afoot. The first topic is the mystery man's aim. First of all, we must ask ourselves on what business you have ventured to the pawnbrokery today. You claim to have followed this pickpocket here, having had the redemption ticket stolen from you on the street. But that is most certainly a lie. The real truth is something quite different. Oh? As revealed by that which you hold in your hand. Yes, what brought you to this shop in the first place is a staff recruitment flyer. The piece of paper in your hand is a staff wanted advertisement from this very shop. Yet even the most unobservant would soon realize that a man of your appearance has no need for such employee. In other words, there's some ulterior motive for your actions. The king, which you unwittingly clutch to your person, exhibits an incontrovertible contradiction.
What on what? I've had this cane for years.
The contradiction of which I speak is, of course, the missing ferrule. The end of any walking cane would be terminated with a metal ferrule to protect the wooden tip. And yet, detailed analysis shows the wooden tip of the stick to be utterly bare. Therefore, there's only one conclusion. The rod that you hold in your hand, which appears to be a walking cane, is in fact no cane at all. What the? You recoil, sir. Is something wrong? And in your recoiling, you inadvertently facilitate the answer of the next conundrum to present itself. Namely, what is the truth behind this rod you bear? Yes, your reaction betrays the truth. The handle, which you evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle, you see. From the moment I saw it, my suspicions were aroused. What walking cane demands such a stout handle, mused I. course, as I said, this is no walking cane. No, that rod is a broken handle of a shovel.
What? Are you insane?
And now, having determined this undeniable truth, the conclusion is clear. Your true motive for coming here was to take employment at this establishment in order to excavate the ground beneath the premises. What a calculated crime you conceive, sir. A wickedly calculated crime. So the first conclusion is to tunnel underneath the pawnbrokery. Alright, that's one thing. What about number 2? The great crime. Now, Mr. Benedict, let's continue. For we must expose the details of this elaborate crime you have been planning.
This is utterly absurd.
You suggest that I, a gentleman, intend to excavate the ground beneath this pawnbroker with a broken shovel. What on earth do you propose I could expect to find there? Some long-forgotten treasure, I suppose. Save for such fanciful theory, what possible reason could I have to do as you say?
Oh, but there is ample reason. As you are only too well aware, Mr. Benedict. Ah, your furtive glance is more telling than I could have hoped. Let's consider what would motivate a man to infiltrate the shop such as this and covertly dig beneath its floor. The answer is revealed by the counter notice on the counter to which your eyes were inadvertently drawn. This letter gives notice of public works to be carried out in the local area. And according to the enclosed plan of the upcoming sewerage works, beneath the shop runs a sewer that adjoins another, one that runs under the bank on the opposite side of the road. This is madness to enter the sewers now, has it? By excavating the ground beneath our feet, we would gain access to the waterway that flows in very close proximity to the great vaults of the financial institution opposite.
What are you...
In summary, sir, you devise a master plan to pull off an elaborate bank robbery by dint of underground tunnels.
Master plan!
Which brings us at last to the final chapter of this lurid scheme. With what plunder did the thief hope to make off with from the underground vault of the bank?
Are you quite serious?
Having consulted with Scotland Yard some days ago, I happen to know the answer. But naturally, the answer is no secret to you, is it, Mr. Benedict?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Allow me to present a rather interesting piece of evidence. You see, this picture postcard tells us all we need to know.
A postcard of the Great Exhibition. And I'm afraid you quite lost me.
Currently, in the final stages of preparation, the Grand Exhibition will soon be underway. And the government has provided extra funds to complete its centerpiece, the Crystal Tower. Funds that currently sit in the vault of the bank on the other side of this road.
Pardon?
Yes, a considerable crime you have been contemplating is the theft of that which sits in the vault of that bank. The special reserve funds for the Great Exhibition. Of course, that is top secret police information, so keep it under your hat, please. So the conclusion is to steal the Great Exhibition's reserve funds. Alrighty. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this pawnbroking puzzle. Mr. Sholmes. Well, Mr. Naruhodo? An impressively upbeat deduction for a detective racked with loneliness, would you not agree? Was it true what you said about the bank over the road and what it has in the vault? Indeed. Though few know of its existence, it is one of the government's most closely guarded secrets. Gregson told me, in the strictest confidence.
But you just announced it to everybody here. Rather loudly, in fact. Ah.
And if it's such a big secret, how would Mr. Benedict have come to find out about it?
There can be but one explanation for that. Clearly it's because the man is a criminal. But what if he didn't know anything about the money in the vault? If he is a criminal, as you said, then buying a brand new shovel will surely be the first thing he does now that you've revealed the secret.
Oh. Or if he doesn't, maybe Mr. Windibank will. He already has plenty of shovels here, after all. Oh, my life! I too, I'm not unsculpturous.
Well, hopefully this has taught you a very valuable lesson. Sensitive information must be handled with the utmost care. One can never be sure that someone privy to secrets won't disclose them, and once the word is out, it's out. Perhaps I'll think twice before confiding in you next time, Mr. Sholmes. An excellent idea, Mr. Naruto, an excellent idea. Well then, Mr. Naruto, you know what to do now, I'm sure.
Yeah, let's listen to that great deduction again, and see if we can massage it into shape.
Very well then.
Let's start once more from the beginning.
Of Herlock Sholmes, magnificent, logic and reasoning spectacular.
Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. Let's fix this up. Staring at the mystery man's aim.
First of all, we must ask ourselves on what business you have ventured to this pawnbrokery today. You claim to have followed this pickpocket here, having had the redemption ticket stolen from you on the street. But that is most certainly a lie. The real truth is something quite different. As revealed by that which you hold in your hand. Yes, what brought you to this shop in the first place was a staff recruit.
So, by Mr. Sholmes' reasonings, Mr. Benedict came here in order to apply for jobs so he could dig down through the floor.
Yes, in an attempt to tunnel into the sewer to gain access to the money in the vault of the bank across the road. But he wouldn't get very far with a broken shovel, would he?
No, I think it's fair to say his motive lies somewhere else. The question is where? What did bring Mr. Benedict here at this particular point in time? Is there something behind the flare? Yes, there is.
Oh, look at all the scribbled notes on the back of the flyer here. I don't believe it. What is it?
Listen to what it says. Name, Gina Lestrade, height 5'2". Green caps, scruffy waistcoat, grubby white shirt, blue satchel, ragged.
It's a detailed description of Miss Lestrade. Goodness. There's even a sketch of her, hat and all. Although, if he showed it to her, she'd fire that smoke grenade launcher in his face for sure. And look, Diesel has the shop been written down here too. Windibank's Pawnbrokery, Baker Street, redemption deadline 15th April. Which is today's date. Why would Mr. Benedict have all that information scrolled on the back of that piece of paper?
It's gotta be this then.
Take that!
The info about Miss Lestrade. Yes, what brought you to the shop in the first place is the info about Miss Lestrade.
Quite so, my dear fellow. It would appear that the writing and sketch on the reverse of the flyer pertain to the pickpocket, Miss Lestrade, and to Mr. Windibank's pawnbrokery here.
You originally told us that you had merely given chase after Miss Lestrade stole the redemption ticket from you. But that, sir, is a thinly veiled lie. It is the information on the back of the flyer that led you here today. By which I mean, here, to Windibank's pawnbrokery, and today, the redemption deadline of that overcoat. So, you waited outside for the young girl matching the description you have written down to arrive. And you have gone to some lengths to hide the reason for your pursuit of Miss Lestrade. In other words, there is some ulterior motive for your actions. The cane, which you unwittingly clutched to your person, exhibits an incontrovertible contradiction.
But Otto, bro, I've had this cane for years.
The contradiction of which I speak of is, of course, The missing ferrule. What is a ferrule?
It's the metal cap commonly found at the end of a cane, Mr. Naruhodo.
Ah, the bit that makes the nice clanking sound on the pavement.
Yes, exactly. And Mr. Shums is right. It appears to be missing on this cane.
But it doesn't actually look broken, does it?
No, it doesn't. Though the gentleman certainly did recoil when Mr. Shums identified the cane as suspicious.
In our words, there's something secret about the cane that Mr. Benedict would rather we don't know. AG? Look here, Miss Usada. There's some letters on the handle.
Ah, yes. Those must be initials, I think. In the West, it's customary for people to engrave their belongings with the first letters of their name.
So Herlock Sholmes would be HS, you mean?
That's right. Initials on this cane, obviously. Oh.
AG. So he's not saying his actual name. If it was actually Egbert Benedict, it would be EG. Why does it feel as though that's not quite right?
Take that!
The initialing. The contradiction of which I speak is, of course, the initialing. A most astute observation, wouldn't you say, Mr. Egbert Benedict? We are led to believe, sir, that your initials are EB. Yet in the most pacific manner, you have in your grasp a cane bearing the initials AG. An incontrovertible contradiction indeed, would you not agree? No! You're wrong! This cane isn't... You said before that you'd had that cane for years. So don't try to tell us that you just borrowed it from a friend or found it in the park. In short, though you hold yourself to be a gentleman, you have withheld your true name. What's that sound? You recoil, sir. Is something wrong? And in your recoiling, you inadvertently facilitate the answer of the next conundrum to present itself. Namely, what's the truth behind this rod you bear? Yes, your reaction betrays the truth. The handle, which you evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle. Let's consider the bare bones of what's happened here. Miss Lestrade redeemed that fine-looking overcoat. And now a mysterious man has appeared, introducing himself with a fake name, and claiming that the overcoat belongs to him.
But we know that he actually identified Miss Lestrade from a written description, which suggests that everything else he saw is untrue.
So what we need to do here is somehow prove that the overcoat cannot possibly belong to him. Oh. Hello there.
Oh, the seam on the shoulder there is coming apart. Look.
So it is.
You know, a moment ago when Mr. Benedict was surprised by something that was said, I thought I heard him make a rather strange noise. It sounded a bit like a tiny growl. But now I think it was probably the sound of the seam ripping open.
If you look closely, it does look like it seemed to be a very tight fit. The sleeves are stretched to bursting, and he wouldn't have a hope of fastening it at the front. If you were to run around in it, I'm sure the whole thing would fall apart.
That I'd like to see.
Sorry?
So how can we make Mr. Benedict run around?
She's really giving this some thought.
Take that!
The split seam. The split seam, which you evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle, you see. Yes, because the overcoat is rather obviously a poor fit. Having forced it over your broad shoulders, the seam is already breaking apart. My suspicions were aroused from the outset. When you so boldly lied about your name and so boldly waylaid this pickpocket. This catalogue of untruths has all been for one very specific purpose. To steal the article that the young girl redeemed from Mr. Winterbank. But what really irks me is this. The considerable crime I initially imagined has been considerably curtailed. Yeah, your second thing makes 0 sense at all now. To abscond with a redeemed item. So that means the crime cannot be that. Cannot be reserve funds, so... Where do we go from here? Now, Mr. Benedict, let's continue. For we must expose the details of this elaborate crime you have in the planning.
This is utterly absurd. You suggest that I, a gentleman, designed a wheeze to filch some tawdry article of pawnage. Have you forgotten that I redeemed the article in the proper manner using the watchword? Had I not been the one to deposit it in the first place? How could I possibly have known the relevant details? Yes, pas.
Oh, but the watchword can be discovered. As you are only too well aware, Mr. Benedict. Ah, and your furtive glance is telling more than I could have hoped. What? Let us consider how one might come to learn a secret watchword relating to the pawn property of another. The method is revealed by the council notice on the counter, to which your eyes...
The direction of the deduction must change rather dramatically now, I think.
Yeah, no more talk of tunneling into the sewers. Which is a pity, because it all sounded rather exciting. Anyway, you can't deny that this mysterious gentleman did know the watchword.
Yes, Professor. If you didn't know that word, Mr. Winnebank would never allow you to redeem the article.
Or, looking at it another way, if you did know that word, Mr. Winnebank would allow you to redeem the article whether it was yours or not. So the question is, could this gentleman have found the watchword out somehow? What I want to see is this notelet thing. Look at this, Mr. Sato.
It appears to be a memo that Mr. Winnebank has scribbled to himself.
Let's see. What does it say? Oh, Professor. Bingo. Mr. Winnebank must make a note of the watchwords his customers give him right before their eyes. And an alarmingly clear script as well.
Oh dear, I don't know where to look. Who knows what our secrets I might see?
Well, we know where it is now.
Take that!
The notelet. The method is revealed by the notelet on the counter to which your eyes were inadvertently drawn. Yes, the broker here follows the same procedure whenever a customer comes to redeem an article. He asks the customer for the watchword and notes down the response uttered on a notelet that he has to hand. Then he consults his ledger and confirms whether or not the watchword matches that of the article in question. I would not expect nothing less of a diligent pawnbroker. But his diligence clearly has its disadvantages. What are you talking about? It is increasingly apparent that you were present in the shop before your accusation against Miss Lestrade. In all likelihood, you followed her inside and then observed her talking to Mr. Winterbank. When the diligent broker made note of the watchword, as is his common practice, you observed him writing the word Professor on the notelet beside the ledger. And that, sir, was the master plan you devised to steal the pawn article from young Miss Lestrade.
Master plan!
Which brings us to at last to the final chapter of this lurid scheme. Why would you go to such lengths to redeem that particular article from this pawnbroker?
Are you quite serious?
For an ill-fitting overcoat hardly seems to justify the effort, much less a worthless music box disc. But naturally, you had very good reason to make them yours, didn't you, Mr. Benedict?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Allow me to present a rather interesting piece of evidence. You see, this picture postcard tells us all that we need. The articles we're talking about are the overcoat and the music box disc that was in one of the pockets.
Which, according to Mr. Winnebank, isn't even worth a penny.
And yet this man went to such lengths to steal them. Why?
I wonder if perhaps we already have the evidence we need to explain it, Mr. Naruhodo.
Could we? Really? Better have a thorough look through the evidence we've collected so far. I mean, this is the only evidence we have. Unless there's something to it. Can I examine it? Look at all the little bumps on the disc. They're so tiny.
Yes, the protrusions are called pins, and they pluck the teeth of the comb to make notes. And just on the edge, there's a small amount of blood.
Yeah, blood of the mysterious Mr. Edgar Benedict.
Miss Lestrade tried to grab the disc from him. The pin scratched his finger, it seems. Like when you're grating some daikon rash and accidentally catch your finger.
Ow. Just thinking about it hurts. And puts me off eating radish. Ah. For McGilded. Alright.
There's a little scrap of paper stuck into the reverse side of the disc, too. Look. And scribbled word or two. Looks like it's somebody's name. For McGilded.
McGilded? It couldn't be.
But it is Mr. Naruhodo. A name I shall never forget for as long as I live.
But why? Why is his name on this? On the reverse side is a note that reads, for McGilded.
Take that!
You see, this music box disc tells us all that we need to know.
What's that on the back?
It reads, for McGilded. Mr. Magnus McGilded, the unfortunate philanthropist who perished in curious circumstances at the Old Bailey 2 months ago. A prominent man in London, though his loan-mongering demonstrated a distinct lack of scruples. So, you're an associate of his, aren't you? Or perhaps a subordinate? Mr. McGilded was a man of unusually small stature, in fact. He was precisely the right size for that overcoat that you squeezed yourself into. Your true identity remains shrouded in mystery, Mr. Edgar Benedict. But the final conclusion here is crystal clear. The reason you came to this pawnbrokery today was to retrieve an article left behind by the late Magnus McGilded. So, finally brought back to Mr. McGilded, huh? To acquire an item deposited by Mr. McGilded. Alright, deduction complete. Elementary. Very good. Very good indeed. Well, Mr. Magnus McGilded. Not a name I expected to hear in these circumstances.
Mr. Sholmes, I'm afraid there's something very troubling on my mind.
Pray tell, Miss Susato.
Well, according to what Mr. Windibank told us earlier, today was the final day on which the coat could have been redeemed, was it not?
Yes, ma'am. That's correct. Today would be precisely 2 months since it was first... 2 months. They made it a point to say it's been 2 months since that case earlier, I'm pretty sure. Well, today's 15th April, so 2 months ago today would have been 15th February, sir. That's right. So I'll carefully record my ledger. Deposit at 10:30 p.m., I see.
What? But that suggests... Yes, 15th February.
It's precisely the day on which the omnibus murder took place.
At 10:30 in the evening. It's precisely the time at which the terrible events were unfolding.
Suggestive is not the word. It would seem the matter is entirely beyond coincidence.
You are, of course, at liberty to make whatever outlandish deductions you choose. However... Hey! I must insist you hand over the music box disc now. It would be a terrible shame for you to return to your native land in a box. What do I do?
You'll never take me alive! There's some things a man must protect at all costs. This may well be one of those things. Then again, may not. Mr. Winnebago, this is my shop. I can't allow any harm to come to my customers. If that were to happen, I should have to take my own life. Mr. Winnebago, no. Alright, that's enough. Oh, hey! Inspector Gregson. Inspector? That's right, Sunshine. The alarm was raised on one of our dedicated emergency lines. So we got here as fast as we could. Now, what's all this about, eh? Oh, praise me, you're here at last. I was moments away from forfeiting my own life in my very own establishment.
It would seem you have the upper hand.
Right, you lot have got some explaining to do. I don't appreciate being bothered with some petty argy-bargy.
Petty! Mr. Winnebago very nearly met with his end.
Yeah, by his own gun, as far as I can tell.
Oh dear.
And the whole of Britain could meet with its end if I don't get to the bottom of the case I'm supposed to be working on.
What? Why is this a case, Inspector? Spare no details, Gregson.
I might have said a little too much. No matter, it's all nothing to do with you lot. Anyway, sir, you're gonna have to come with me down to the station. Yummy. But, of course, Inspector.
Ah! He's getting away! You have them lads! Well, that's the business of the beat officer, too!
Sir? Great. There's been a spate of thefts at pawn shops around here recently. So we figured emergency buttons underneath the counters for brokers to let us know when there's trouble. Oh, Inspector. I was very worried there for a while. Very worried indeed. Now then, Mr. Permanent and Morning. Oh. Yeah? I'll be taking out whatever it is, McGillis, down the yard. Thank you very much. So hand it over. Oh, yes, of course.
No, don't! Don't give it to him! It's mine, that is! Mine!
I'm sorry, miss. Well, anything belonging to Mr. McGillis has been taken in as evidence now. As evidence?
If the police demand something as evidence, my dear fellow, we have no choice but to capitulate. It's all yours, Inspector.
And so, we handed Mr. McGillet's disc back over to Inspector Gregson. And were summarily turfed out of the shop and onto the street.
Never continued.
Which we can do right now, because why not? Bam, 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 bam. It's closed.
See, that's why I hate grown-ups. All I do is feed you a pack of lies and take stuff away from you.
Oh, really, Miss Lestrade? Tell me, is that overcoat keeping you warm?
What? Oh my, surely you were given that. Yeah, the D let me keep it, after I looked down because I'm long enough. He went through the pockets and then said, go on then.
have it before telling me to stop her. Always pays off giving people a look like you hate them.
Can't help feeling that's going to get you into serious trouble one day.
All I really wanted was that nice shiny disc of mine.
The music box disc?
But Mr. Windibank said it was practically worthless.
I think I'm gonna have go have me another bash. Give him a good long odd stare.
I think not, Mr. Strade. We shan't send to Mr. Windibank again today.
Why not? It's not fair.
It can't be helped, I'm afraid. The police are investigating the scene now and taking a statement from Mr. Windibank.
That disc is mine, and I had the ticket from his overcoat, and it was in his coat's pocket. And there should be something else at all. That's what that rotten cove said, ain't it?
Yeah, he did mention something about another article, didn't he?
Well then, that's mine too. Whatever it is.
Now she's really pushing her luck. Mr. Strade, I think it's time to admit defeat. You've had your haul for today.
Yeah, and it's all your fault, Sholmes.
So what are your plans now? Will you dine with us this evening?
Eh?
I just would be delighted to cook, I'm sure, and I might entertain you with a modest violin recital.
No, sir. Oh. Why come around your place, eh? Have you lost your head or something?
Bye.
Oh dear. She's gone.
Having relied on me quite unnecessarily, I might add. I can't help wondering if perhaps she might turn up anyway. Interesting. Once she's had a chance to calm down, I think there's a good chance she'll decide to come.
Very well then.
I'll inform Iris to set a place for our potential guests at the dinner table this evening. And one more thing. I should be glad of your company later too. Sorry? I believe I will have a rather splendid surprise to show you.
Oh, how exciting. What is it?
You shall have to wait to see, Mrs. Sato. Until later then. What? In here? Hello. 15th April, Shum Suite.
Oh, Susie and Bruno. Come in, come in.
Good afternoon, Iris.
Thank you so much for breakfast this morning. Don't mention it. Goodness, look at the time already.
Busy as always?
I am. I'm preparing everything for dinner this evening.
Already? You're obviously cooking something special, are you?
Oh yes, after all, we have a special guest joining us. Guess who it is? Go on. You'll never guess. If you guess wrong, I have a pistol.
Look at those little eyes that are shining. She's about to shoot me.
Oh dear, it's awkward when you already know the answer, isn't it? It's Skinny! Isn't it exciting? Oh, what a surprise! Yes, that's wonderful news.
Wow, Iris seems overjoyed at the idea. I need water. I also feel like I need to eat something. Maybe I need to get something sweet. I want chocolate. But I always want chocolate.
Can't wait to learn some pickpocketing tips from a real professional.
Oh yeah, that does sound like fun.
I'm not sure that's entirely appropriate, are you? Are you, Mr. Naruhodo?
By the way, Iris, what's Mr. Sholmes up to? Is he depressed again?
Really? Oh, he's been like that ever since he got back.
Hello, Mr. Sholmes. I beg that you won't speak to me. Sorry? I don't know who you are, but kindly take your leave. As you can see, I'm not here. I don't know how to respond to that.
I do apologize. When he gets like this, he's completely oblivious to everything.
Yeah, I see.
Really, he behaves just like a child sometimes, Hurley does. Mr. Sholmes and Iris have something of a parent and child relationship, don't they?
Yeah, except Iris is clearly the parent here. Come to think of it, I wonder where her real parents are.
What's the matter, Runo? You have ever such a funny look on your face.
Oh, no, it's nothing.
I know it is. Why does this girl live here with Mr. Sholmes? You're wondering. Am I right?
How? How'd you...
Oh, Runo. I can read you like a book.
Ugh, this girl's dangerous.
Don't worry. You can ask me anything. I won't mind.
Ever thee well, but first of all... Mr. Sholmes, talk. So, Mr. Sholmes, what are you so engrossed in? Did you not hear? I'm not here! Of course you're not. I cannot think of why the whole bed of the ocean is not one solid mass of oysters, so prolific the creatures seem. He won't even turn around and look at me.
It's best just to leave him alone when he's in one of his moods like this.
Yeah, I can see that. Now this really is Mr. Sholmes' faithful performing partner then. The Stradivar, the Strappy Scar, the Scrapiferi... No, it's good. It's gone. The virtuoso's violin that he found in the pawnbrokers and managed to buy for next to nothing.
After all we went through to get back, he just cast his sight like on the chair. I was looking forward to hearing that beautiful sound it makes when Mr. Sholmes plays it.
It does look rather sorry for itself there, doesn't it? Although, at least Wagahai hasn't attacked yet, even as his eyes are saying it's only been a matter of time.
Yeah.
Is Wagahai in the room?
It's not.
Whoops. Child, speak. So, by Guinea you mean Miss Lestrade, the young woman from the McGillig case 2 months ago, right? Hold on. Ugh, sorry. Got an annoying feeling on my eye. Just gotta rub it out.
Also the one who also stole my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Although, after that trial, I invited her back here, and we had dinner together. Now we're best friends. Oh, what a lovely tale. Yes, now if I bump into her on the street, she runs away as fast as she can. Oh. And I chase after her down the back alleys.
Run from the small child. You can't run forever. Interesting idea of friendship.
And then I let her have the latest color of smoke grenade I've developed. Oh. There are so many beautiful colors in the world. Guinea wants me to make the whole rainbow.
I suppose this means... you've let Miss Lestrade keep the smoke grenade launcher, have you?
Yes, that's right. I got bored of it anyway. Hurley always reacts the same when I shoot him with it now.
Poor Hurley.
Oh, I can't wait for Guinea to arrive. It's been so long since she last came over. I'm so excited.
I just hope she does actually come.
I'm sure you've been wondering why it is I live here with Hurley, haven't you?
Well, it has crossed my mind. That and where are your real parents?
My mommy and daddy aren't with me anymore. Mommy passed away when I was born, and at around the same time, my father... well, he had to go to a faraway land because because of one of the cases he and Hurley worked on.
Oh. Wait a minute. Did you say he and Hurley?
Yeah. Daddy and Hurley were always solving mysterious cases together.
She didn't mention that before.
He wrote them all up in his diaries. That's what's in the middle chest over there.
Really? He recorded them all.
So, you mean it's true, Mr. Sholmes really did have a partner with whom he tackled some of his most taxing cases? Oh yes. I mean, it's always nice to have one, isn't it?
So Mr. Sholmes' partner was your father?
Exactly. Hurley told me I wasn't allowed to look in the chest, but that only made me want to look even more. So I opened it up. I found your father's memoirs. Yes, so I asked Hurley, who wrote these? He nearly fell off his chair. But then he told me. That's when I found out about the author of all those accounts. That's my father.
So Iris' father was Mr. Sholmes' partner. Your father.
I practically lived with Hurley all my life. I was tiny when he took me in. So, it came as quite a shock when Hurley told me he wasn't really my daddy. I mean...
Must have done.
I wonder why Mr. Sholmes chose to tell you and at such a young age. Hurley says because he wouldn't have been able to hide it from me.
Oh?
Well, having lived with Hurley all these years, you might say that his ways have rubbed off on me. There are some things I can just see. Especially lies. I almost know when people are lying, before they open their mouths sometimes.
Right.
Anyway, I was so fascinated when I read Daddy's diaries. That's what inspired me to write The Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, actually. I'd always assumed Mr. Sholmes simply told you all these thrilling stories. Oh no, Hurley's hopeless like that. He forgets everything as soon as he's solved a case that all but vanishes from his mind. Oh, I see. The other day it was so embarrassing as usual he totally forgot about the case he just solved. So the very next day, he gathered together all the people involved and proceeded to solve the case again. It's quite a shock for everyone.
You can say that again.
You share your father's surname, don't you, Iris? That's right, Wilson. Daddy's Dr. John H. Wilson. I learned from his diaries that he's a doctor of medicine, you see.
Hey, who was the guy in the first case?
That's the problem, he is studying so that I could earn a doctorate as well.
Iris' father went to some distant land and is a doctor by the name of John H. Wilson. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case. The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. That's right, visiting professor of medicine at Imperial Yume University. And the man who, in the most bizarre of circumstances, lost his life just before he left Japan. Miss Susato.
Yes.
Perhaps we shouldn't pursue this conversation any further at the time.
I think that would be for the best.
Yeah. Ah, my dear fellows!
How good to see you! Yeah, Mr. Sholmes.
Why ever did you not make your presence known to me before? Well, no matter now. So, how the devil are you? We've been with you for most of the day. Goodness, really?
Do tell, Mr. Sholmes, is your violin unscathed?
My violin? Whatever are you talking about, dear madam?
Oh,
Never mind that now. I have something far more interesting to show you. Behold, my dear fellows, how did you get this?
Oh, another music box disc.
No, not another disc, Mr. Sato. This is the one Gregson demanded we hand over as evidence, Mr. McGilded's disc.
Oh my! Then what's it doing here?
It's a different color, though. You know, at times, Mr. Naruto, I think that though I have an undeniable turn for detection, I may well be even more adept at larceny.
Whoa, that would be wonderfully exciting. I'd be your pickpocketing assistant. Reno could be our go-to lawyer if we ever got caught.
Right.
Plus, Susie has such beautiful handwriting. She could write our menacing crime notifications. Yes, I'd be delighted.
I'm just going to pretend this conversation never happened, I think. Alright. I don't understand. How did that disc come to be in your possession? I thought Inspector Gregson took it back to Scotland Yard. Quite correct. And that sort of uncompromising attitude is precisely why I carry some of this. I like to eat caramels.
That's a bar of caramel, Mr. Shums.
Your one and only friend in times of loneliness, if I'm not mistaken. If you will to humor me, my dear fellows, cast your minds back to when the good detective confiscated the disc.
I'll be taking that whatever it is of Mr. McGillicud's down to the yard, thank you very much. So hand it over.
Oh, yeah, of course. If the police demand something as evidence, my dear fellow, we have no choice but to capitulate. It's all yours, Inspector. For the briefest of moments, I had the disc in my hand, did I not? Yeah, you did, but I still understand. It was at precisely that moment that I summoned my one and only friend into action. I pressed the disc into the pair of bars. Like this. You created a mold. That's amazing! The disc and all the minuscule protrusions have made an image in the caramel. Indeed. This caramel is quite exceptional. I developed it myself, you know. Suitably soft for making impression, but resistant to melting. The result of a precisely controlled solution.
How extraordinary.
Carrying a pair of these on one's person and frequently proves very useful indeed. Take a house key, for example. A simple press and its unique form is duplicated. I can enter anyone's property at will, and never without high sucrose nourishment. Yeah, that sounds illegal. From the image, I was able to create this. I confess I was most curious to know what matters of music would issue from the disc when played. Magnus McGilded. Not a name I expected to hear again so soon. Yeah, it's only been 2 months since that grisly case. Mr. McGillid perished within hours of the trial's conclusion. Was it the curse of the Reaper? No one knows, still now. The omnibus was reduced to a pile of ash. Not a shred of evidence remained. And with the man's death, the truth about the murder in which he was so intimately involved was buried. Even though he successfully established Mr. McGilled's innocence in the trial,
the newspapers are still claiming that it remains an unsolved case.
The murder of the brickmaker, Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason. In the end, the truth of the matter remains a mystery. We still have no idea what really happened that night. And although Mr. McGill was found not guilty through my defense, I still don't know if that was the right judgment or not. It would appear that the case is not yet closed.
Do tell us then, Mr. Sholmes. What music does the disc play?
Well, unfortunately, I have no idea. No idea. None whatsoever. Are you familiar with the workings of a music box, dear fellows? No, I'm afraid not.
Goodness, you don't know, Runo? Inside a music box, there's a special metal piece called a comb. That's what produces the sound. Small protuberances pluck the different teeth of the comb as they rotate past it, making the different notes. The first music box is invented using a rotating cylinder with protuberances on it.
But over time, a new type of layer was produced, which uses discs such as these. With that development, the popularity of music boxes spread far and wide, all around the globe.
Why exactly?
Because the discs are easy to produce, and can be interchanged to facilitate the playing of different tunes. There are a great many firms in Europe now manufacturing music boxes as a result.
It's wonderful to be able to enjoy music, even when no one performer is present.
But it is the very success of the invention that means we are now presented with an insurmountable problem. What do you mean? As you may imagine, the construction of one firm's music box does not match that of another. And we have no way of knowing in which music box this particular disc was designed to be played. There is no resolution to this problem, I'm afraid. It's quite intractable. Ah, I see, so that's why. Naturally, I tested the disc in those few music boxes that I have at my disposal. But as you can hear, to no avail. Ah, yeah. The results were equally unsatisfactory in this one. So, I am presently engaged in acquiring an example of all the music boxes ever made in Europe.
Every single one. That's early for you, always taking things too far.
But my dear girl, an unsolved riddle is quite repugnant to my constitution.
But surely all the different types in Europe will amount to a huge volume of music boxes, won't it? Yes, that certainly is true. In the worst case, I shall just have to ask you to vacate the attic room. What?
Well, it's time I started getting things ready for dinner, I think.
We're 2 hours into this, and we still have not even touched the case itself yet.
Jenny will be here before long.
Thank you, Iris.
Oh, well, you must let me help you then. Of course, Susie. There's plenty to do.
Well, I think I shall investigate the condition of my faithful performing partner. Now then, where did I leave it? Let this be a lesson to you, Mr. Sholmes. Never leave anything too precious with the pawnbroker. Yes, you may be right.
Oh, that reminds me of something Mr. Winnebank said before. He said that he had a manuscript of Iris's in pawn, didn't he?
Did he? Yeah, he definitely mentioned it. Mr. Sholmes' latest tale of otherworldly mystery lies dormant in my storeroom, were his words, I believe.
So you heard about that, did you? I expect you were as incensed as I was. Oh yes, the idea of such a wonderful story languishing in Mr. Winnebank's storeroom, gathering dust.
My dear madam, I'm quite sure I told you already. The pawnbroker's storeroom is the safest place for it, more secure than a bank's vault.
And what about your Stradivarius, Hurley? Was that safe and secure?
I like how she's kind of doing the same pose, except instead of pointing her finger up, she has a gun. For her neutral special, she uses a gun. Well, there may be the occasional mix-up, caused by a certain impetuous someone not too far off from me now.
Do you have any idea how long it took me to write that Baskerville story, Hurley? It sounds so exciting. The Hound of the Baskervilles. I should love to read it.
The attitude in the room has shifted immensely. I'm not so sure how I feel about serious staring Sholmes. What's going on here? Why does it feel like an icy chill just swept through the room?
Susie, what did you just say? You said the Hound of the Baskervilles. But how could you know the full title? Well, that's
because Mr. Saw is such a great fan of all the stories about Mr. Sholmes, of course.
But Bruno, the Hound of the Baskervilles has never been published.
What?
When I showed Hurley the manuscript, he told me that I wasn't allowed to publish it yet.
I don't understand.
That's why he said they keep it safe. Until it's the right time for the story to be made public, you see.
So that's why the manuscript is at Windibanks.
And yet, how could Susie here know its title? Bell Hurley, what's going on?
What is it, Mr. Sholmes? It would appear our guest has arrived. Hi there. Miss Lestrade.
This was a bad idea. I knew I wasn't welcome. I'm going. No!
No, wait.
Miss Lestrade. We've all been eagerly waiting your arrival. Haven't we, Iris?
Oh, yes. Just wait there, Guinea. We'll have everything ready in a jiffy. Come on, Susie. Right, of course. It's a pleasure seeing you here, Mrs. Stride. Please, make yourself at home.
Don't stand in the doorway, my dear girl. Come along in. What say you to some Mendelssohn? I won't take no for an answer. Mendelssohn it is, then. Ah, the kitty! Meow. That evening, Iris prepared us all a meal that was even more delicious than usual. Mr. Sholmes' violin performance was in no way meddlesome, and Gina, as we all came to call her, taught us all how to steal things from one another without being noticed. Everyone thoroughly enjoyed themselves well into the night. And then everything went wrong. 15th of April, 1934 p.m. near. That was a very enjoyable evening, wasn't it?
Oh, yes. Iris' cooking was truly divine.
And I feel as though I can still hear the enchanting strains of Mr. Sholmes' violin even now.
Best of all, I bet I can steal the glasses from his lordship's face next time we're in court. Naruhodo-san, could I consult with you about something, I wonder?
What's the matter, Susa-san?
It's about the telegram I received.
Ah. The one that arrived first thing this morning, I suppose.
I've been summoned.
What? Summoned? What do you mean?
Telegram was from the Lord Chief Justice office. Lord Stronghars asked to see me.
The Lord Chief Justice? When?
Tomorrow morning.
What? Then we have to start preparing at once.
Oh, no! That won't be necessary, Naruhodo-san. I've been summoned alone.
Alone? What on earth for?
I have no idea. I suppose I should find out tomorrow.
What's all this about? Whatever it is, it's making me feel very uneasy. Hello? Oh, who could that be, I wonder?
Good evening, friends.
Ah, Iris. Hello again. Oh, hi there.
And Gina, too. Yes, Ginny's gonna stay with us tonight. She's gonna sleep in with me. Isn't that right, Ginny? Well, yeah. How lovely. Let me make a pot of tea. You know, I've learned so much today. Oh, what in particular? All those things Ginny showed us. Wasn't it wonderful?
Ah, you mean all those pickpocketing techniques? We had fun trying them out on each other, didn't we?
I think I've awakened a natural talent. I could earn a living from it.
You might be getting ahead of yourself a little there. So, what brings you to our humble quarters at this late hour?
Well, you see, I came returned.
What? Wait, what? That's mine!
However did you... I told you, didn't I? I have a natural talent for it.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Iris is literally a child genius.
So anyway, here, you can have it back. Not that I really understand why you wear it, though.
Thank you. Actually, if I look in the court record right now, is it gone? No, it's still there.
Alright then, good night.
Yeah, good night.
So this is your office, is it? What do you think, Ginny?
I think I want to fancy me chances with a lawyer what lives in a place like this.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you, too. It seems as though Iris here still has something she'd like to talk about.
I suppose... she probably wants to talk about the manuscript.
Yeah, I suppose she probably does. The Hound of the Baskervilles.
Iris, I suppose you're here hoping to talk about the manuscript, aren't you? Aren't you going to tell me? I'm so sorry. I need a little more time. Please. Alright. I understand. I hope I haven't made you feel awkward. Oh no, not at all, Iris. Not at all.
I don't know what all this is about, really, but
It's a story you made up, is it, Iris? This manuscript or whatever you call it? It's not exactly a story that I made up. It's something I read in Daddy's diaries.
Daddy's.
That's right. That's right. I don't suppose I mentioned it to you before, Ginny, but my daddy was Harley's assistant once, his partner.
Eh?
They solved all sorts of strange and mysterious cases together. Is that right, mister?
Apparently so. I was surprised as you are, though.
Daddy wrote all the details of every single case down, you see, in his diaries. So I study them and write my stories based on what actually happened.
So, where's the old man now, then?
He had to go away on urgent business to a faraway land, and he'll be gone a very long time. So, I never really met him.
Oh, right. Come to think of it, I don't know anything about Gina's parents either. Perhaps we should ask her. Iris, this Hound of the Baskerville story. I take it that it's another tale inspired by your father's accounts?
That's right. I thought it was fascinating. But it's different somehow. From the other cases, I mean.
Oh? How?
I don't really know, but it must be special in some way. Because after I'd written it, and I showed the manuscript to Hurley, he turned as white as a sheet. It was the first time I'd ever seen him like that.
It pains me to have to say this after you've toiled over it for so long, Iris, But this story must not be published at this time, under any circumstances.
Why not? It's one of my best works.
I'm not at liberty to say. Not now. So please do not ask me.
Alright then, I won't.
But I do solemnly swear that I will explain everything one day, Iris, when the time is right. And that's how the manuscript came to be at Windibanks, isn't it?
Yes. Hurley said it had to be somewhere very safe. That really gets my goat, that does. He's treating you like a child. It's mean what it is. Keep it safe like that.
I'm sure Mr. Sholmes isn't trying to be mean.
Eh?
If he said he wasn't at liberty to talk about it, I'm sure it must have been a very good reason.
I think so too.
You lot too trusting for your own good.
But can't put a wool over my eyes. Sholmes is lying to ours. I bet my life on it. What? Hurley's lying to me?
Pickpocket. Your parents. Squeaky chair. A tangled cable. Everything in between. I've realized that I don't know anything about your parents, Gina.
I ain't got any, have I? Never did have. Oh. Look, he's as full of orphans like me. No one wants nothing to do with us, from the minute we're born, not even our mums. We all stick together. The older ones look after the little ones, and make sure they get by. So that's why you're a pickpocket. Nah, robbing's my life. I love it. I get a kick out every time I lift some pompous idiot's purse. And that's how we all afford to eat. I'm not robbing it, ain't I? That's how I see it. Oh, Gina. I do think about sometimes what it'd be like to have parents, I mean. I always thought I'd make everything right. But I haven't listened to what Ars just said. Ow, I just bit my tongue. Sounds like having parents ain't always easy either. Oh. I mean, if you know you never had them, you don't feel like you always wanted to meet them. It's true. I do want to see Daddy so much. Oh, Iris.
Gina, what do you mean when you said that you know Mr. Sholmes is lying to Iris?
Well, he reckons he popped that manuscript or whatever, right? But come on, that's obviously a load of rubbish. Oh my, why would you think that, Gina? It's simple. If that story was really in old Windibank's storeroom, there's no way someone from halfway around the world, in other words, you, could have known about it. Sorry, Ars, but if you ask me, he sold it. I'm not telling you. But Hurley would never do something like that. I'm sure of it. Huh. Grown-ups do a lot worse than that, believe me. Barefaced lies, the law of them. You just ain't realized it yet. I'm telling you, that manuscript ain't at Windibank's. You'd soon see if you had a look. Even if you think you can trust him, I don't. That Sholmes is a lie, like the rest of them. If I'm honest, I have wondered if Hurley's telling me the truth sometimes. See... Oh, but I don't mean that he sold it. I mean that I sometimes wonder if he might have hidden my maelstrom somewhere. Somewhere I don't know. Even though it's wrong of me to doubt him.
Don't be too hard on yourself, Iris.
Oh my goodness, look at the time. Come on, Guinea. We should go back downstairs. Yeah, alright. And please, don't mention any of this to Hurley, will you?
No, of course not. Good night then, Iris. Good night, Gina.
You must let me make breakfast for you tomorrow morning. I insist. Oh yes, please. I can't wait, Susie. Good night then.
Rolling coin. Iris. Sure is easy to forget, isn't it? Sometimes she speaks like an adult, but deep down, she's still just a child.
Well, I think it's time that I turned in for the night too, Miss Naruhodo-san.
Dr. John H. Wilson, Iris's father, but also the name of the murdered visiting professor at Yume University. It can't be mere coincidence. There's something deeper going on. You're sleepy. No thought. No brain. No nothing. Mr. Naruhodo. Mr. Naruhodo. That voice. That's Mr. Sholmes. What's going on? It's the middle of the night. It's Mrs. Rade. She's gone. Gina? She was supposed to be sleeping in Iris' room, but her bed is empty. Well, she's an independent young woman. She probably decided to go home, no? I think not. From speaking to her before she retired, I received a distinct impression that she was looking forward to breakfast with Miss Usato. No, I don't believe the girl has gone home, but I've been waiting for over an hour now. Over an hour? Oh. If you'll indulge me, look out of the window, my dear fellow. What's this about? Oh. Wait a minute. Why is there a light on at this time of night? That's Mr. Windibank's pawnbrokery. Mr. Windibank's... Oh no!
It's simple. If that story really was in old Windibank's storeroom, there's no way somewhere from halfway around the world, in other words, you, could have known about it. Sorry, but if you ask me, he sold it. Without telling you.
Could Gina have gone? It seems you have some knowledge of the situation, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry? Oh, no. No, not really. Well, anyway, we must investigate. At once. Oh, hi, Mrs. Sato. Mrs. Sato. The door to the windbanks. It's open.
And the lamp is burning.
It must be Gina, mustn't it? Let us hope it's not. Nothing more sinister. What? Come, there's not a moment to lose. Clearly something is afoot inside. There's no one here. Oh, yes. There he is. Hey!
Mr. Sholmes! What the? Has Sholmes been shot?
Leave me, Mr. Naruhodo.
But after that, go!
Right.
Blast! I've lost him!
Hello, whatever here. The alarm was just raised from this pawnbroker. Would you know something about that? Officer, come with me. It's my friend, Mr. Sholmes. He's been shot.
Shot?
With the policeman close behind me, I ran back to the Winnebanks. Oh, candle. Mr. Sholmes.
Mr. Sholmes!
Same.
How bad is it? Never mind me, but there's much at stake. Behind that door. In the storeroom.
Storeroom?
Hurry!
Okay, fine. Oh, for the love of... Of course he's dead. And of course you're the suspect.
It's Gina!
Alright. Let's continue onward. Bang. Be right, Mr. Naruto. After that, go! Behind that door in the storeroom. Hurry. It's Gina. From that moment, Winnebank's pawnbrokery became a crime scene. Everything that followed happened in a whirlwind of activity. The arrival of the police, the preliminary investigation of the scene, and the questioning. It was just before dawn before I was allowed back to my lodgings at 221B. Sleepy. Hello. Oh, Iris.
A telegram came, but all it said was, wait at home.
Oh, yeah. We asked one of the policemen to have it sent. It's simply impossible to come back.
When I woke up, I was all alone. Hurley and Gina were gone. Everyone was gone. What happened, Runo?
Poor Iris. She's trembling. She's obviously trying very hard not to let herself get too worried. I'll explain everything that I know. Something...
Awful has happened, hasn't it?
Yes. I'm afraid so. I'm sorry to have to tell you this, Iris, but Mr. Windebank is dead. He was shot. We discovered it in the early hours of the morning.
Oh, yes, I have a feeling.
You did?
I saw those police carriages pulling up outside shop. I knew something must have happened there.
When we entered Windebanks in the small hours, we disturbed a gang of 2 thugs. They ran out into the street and I chased after them, but they got away.
So it was one of them who shot Mr. Windebank, I suppose.
I don't know, but that's not what the police believe at the moment.
Why not?
They've arrested someone else as their prime suspect, you see. Gina.
Jenny, but why?
Well, the thing is...
No, you wouldn't do something like that.
I know. None of us think she did it.
Why have they arrested her?
I'm sorry. There was nothing I could do.
So is Hurley then? Is he still there investigating the scene? He really ought to have some breakfast. It's not good for him to miss meals.
I don't want you to worry, Iris, but I have some news about Mr. Sholmes. He was taken to the hospital this morning.
What?
Well, when we entered Winnebank's, a gun was fired, and he took a bullet.
Hurley? A shot? Oh.
It's alright. His life isn't in danger.
Really? Are you sure? Where is he? Which hospital?
He's at St. Sinner's. They're tending it to him there.
I must see him at once.
I'm sorry, Iris, but you can't.
Why not? It's not fair. I'm a family member. I should be allowed.
No, I mean, nobody can see him at the moment. He's not allowed any visitors. They're preparing to operate, you see.
To operate? Oh, poor Hurley. Where's Susie, Bruno?
She's still at the police station.
Oh, why?
I expect she's still being questioned. Police said they wouldn't be finished for a while.
Why aren't you there then?
Well, I didn't get a good look at the criminals anyway, so they weren't questioning me for very long. And Mrs. Snow stayed behind the scene to tend to Mr. Sholmes, so they didn't get started till later.
I see.
Besides, one of us had to come back to be with Iris. I'm glad Inspector Gregson agreed to me leaving early.
You should have let me know, and I would have come to station.
It was the two thugs who were in Mr. Windebank's shop. They shot Mr. Sholmes when we disturbed them, you see. It was pitch black inside the shop at the time. My mind went totally blank, I'm afraid. I just froze.
After them! Go!
After that, I ran out into the street, but... well, they were long gone. I shouldn't have hesitated. I'm so sorry. It's my fault. I let them get away.
I think that's a very good thing.
Sorry?
Well, if you'd seen which way they went and chased after them, you might have been shot as well, Bruno.
She's not wrong.
On top of everything else, I couldn't bear that.
Oh, Iris.
I don't understand why they arrested Ginny. It's not fair. What about the two thugs who were at the scene? Why aren't they the prime suspects? After all, they shot Hurley dead, didn't they?
No! I mean, Mr. Sholmes isn't dead, Iris.
This is all so horrible.
The thing is, Mr. Winbank was found on the floor in the storeroom where he keeps all the deposited articles. And the storm door was locked from the inside.
I see.
But he wasn't alone in there. Gina was found next to him on the floor as well.
Oh no!
And according to detectives who investigated afterwards...
Don't tell me. There's no one else in the room.
Yeah, exactly. How'd you know?
It's the only explanation.
Yeah, the only explanation indeed.
What do you mean by that, Bruno? Well,
What can I say? I'm damned if I agree, damned if I don't. I'm afraid I'll need to go out again now, Iris. There's not much I can do at the moment, but I can at least try to find out how Mr. Sholmes and Gina are getting on.
I want to go too. Take me with you, Bruno. I can't stand just sitting around here waiting.
I'm not sure how I feel about taking a 10-year-old child to the scene of murder. But I don't want to leave her all alone here either. Alright then, Iris. Perhaps you can help me.
Oh yes, I'd love to.
Gina's at the prison and Mr. Sholmes is probably in his hospital bed.
Don't forget we have to visit the crime scene. We need to conduct a thorough investigation.
Ah, you can see you're ready for action. I imagine Iris would appreciate going to the hospital sooner rather than later. Man, I'm tired for some reason. Ugh. Let's continue. Saint Sinners.
Hello. 16th April, Saint Sinners, Hospital of War 3.
Hurley! Oh! He's not here.
No, that's strange. The nurse definitely said he was in the bed by the window, didn't she?
Oh, I know what's probably happened. Hurley was being a big baby and the bullet wound wasn't that bad after all, so he has been sent home.
I'm not so sure about that, baby or not. There's no question that it was a fairly serious injury that Mr. Sholmes suffered.
Oh.
Hello, what have we here?
This wall is off limits. No visiting. So what are you doing in here, eh?
Well, I'll have you know. We're Hurley's next of kin.
Eh? Oh, well, begging your pardon, ma'am. Sir. A little lady and a curious Eastern gentleman. The great mystery solver is a mysterious family.
If that's how you see us, sure.
Where is he, Constable? Where's Hurley?
I believe he's currently in the operating theater, ma'am. Undergoing an extensive operation.
Extensive?
It's been several hours since he went in.
Oh dear. Is he going to be alright?
Well, it doesn't appear to be working, you see. The anesthetic, that is.
Oh!
I've heard a report that the gentleman claims he may have had a little too much to drink last night. Coffee, that is.
Of course.
Anyway, I think it would be fair to assume that he won't be back here for several hours yet.
I see. Thank you, Constable. Perhaps we should leave and come back later.
Poor Hurley.
Man won't allow himself to be operated on for some reason. There's a notice board on the wall there. Look. Let's see, what does it say? Thought of the day. On seeing any vermin, calmly and discreetly inform matron.
Oh yes, they have rats and mice in hospitals like this. I love to feast on all the medicine. If you don't deal with them, there's nothing left to treat the patients.
Rats and mice. Oh, I see. This is a rather old building, I suppose.
The doctors and nurses are all very good, I hear.
Certainly hope so, for Mr. Sholmes' sake. This must be Mr. Sholmes' bed.
Poor Hurley.
I know, it looks as stiff as a board, doesn't it?
Oh, I don't think that will bother him.
No?
I have to find him asleep face down on the floor, completely dead to the world.
I think I'd call the police if I discovered someone like that. You don't know, the floor's comfy. I wonder what these are. Do you have any idea, Iris?
Oh, have you ever seen crutches before? Let me explain. They're for people with leg injuries, to help them walk. You hold one under each arm you see.
Ah, right. I thought they were weapons of some sort.
Why would there be weapons in a hospital?
I thought maybe a fighter had been injured in a battle contest and been brought here along with his weapons.
That's surprisingly plausible.
For this universe, absolutely. Well, it seems like that's it. Alright. Gina! Gina! They at least let you keep your coat and your bag, and your hat, and your scarf. Hello, Gina. Why did they let you keep the gun?
Oh, you still have the grenade launcher Hurley and I get made.
I wish you wouldn't point at me all the time, though.
What are you for? Guinea.
I have a feeling it's because of us that you've ended up in trouble. So we were thinking that we might be able to help you.
Well, you can't.
Sorry?
Good. Get lost. Don't be like that, Guinea. I know you didn't do it. You never shoot someone. I just know you wouldn't. You think you know me? Pull the other one. Oh. They ain't got the first idea about the likes of me. I'm a thief. I pinch people's purses when they're walking down the street. That's how I get by. If I saw me chance, I'd sneak into a pawn shop any day of the week. Just see what I can lay me hands on. Get it? That's the kind of person I am. But Guinea... I'll be in court tomorrow, they said. Some cope came by and said he'd be a lawyer for me or like. Said it was my right or something. But I told him to get stuck. I don't need no lawyer. I don't need no one.
She couldn't be staring at me anymore, obviously, if she tried.
Why are you being like this, Guinea?
I don't understand, Gina. Why did you send the public defender away?
You wanted me to sign some papers, representation papers or something like that. It's not gonna be rigged anyway, whole trial. You'll pay on me because I'm a kid. That's what grown-ups always do. Why do you think that? Because that's how it's always been for me. Grown up in the back slums, me whole life. If you do what the grown-ups tell you, you'll get your mates dragged off by the coppers, or worse. I've had it happen to me before and all. Been sold out and nearly snaffled on the back of it. You can't trust no one. That's the point. As soon as you do, you're gone to grass, dead. Gina, listen.
Gina, listen. If you like, in tomorrow's trial, I could...
Forget it. Gina! Ginny! Don't you trust Runo? Nah, I don't. Look, I'll ask you nicely now. Just leave me alone.
Will you tell us what happened, Gina? Last night at the pawnbroker's.
There's nothing to tell. I figured he'd pay me, so I broke into the place and started going through the store. And the old bloke walked in on me, and you know the rest. Why, Gimme? Why would you do that? Ain't it obvious? The place full of stuff I could sell for a shilling or two. Diving ain't easy, you know. It's a lot of work, and half the time don't even get nothing.
Is that really why you broke into the place?
What?
Are you sure the true reason wasn't something else?
Oh, give it a rest. Would have been the point anywhere. Nothing I could say could make a blind bit of difference. Please tell Skinny. We believe you, whatever it is. Believe me. Don't be daft. You can't believe nothing. Everyone lies all the time. And you know what? When it comes to lies, I'm the biggest of the lot. I've told some unforgivable lies, What do you mean by that? What unforgivable lies?
What did you mean before, Gina, when you said you were the biggest liar of the lot? Why don't you tell us what these unforgivable lies you've told are? Maybe we can help.
Sorry. We're out of time. They don't want to question me now. Kenny, please. Oh yeah. I wanted to give you this. Something to remember me by. Cat.
A photographic print of a really adorable cat.
I found it in one of the pockets of this coat. Ain't no point me having it. Wonder what this little photograph like that was doing in a pocket of your overcoat. Anyway, don't bother coming again. Bye. Oh, Guinea.
A photograph depicting a sweet little white cat, obtained from Gina while interviewing her in her prison cell.
This is an adorable little cat. I think it looks a little like Wagahai. I always thought that cats like to curl up inside under the heated kotatsu blanket when it snowed. Maybe British cats are different. Let me guess. Bingo! Look on the back of this print here. There's something written on it.
13 February, 9 p.m. Article deposited 1 small box. Known amount paid 10 shillings. Redemption deadline 13th April, 9 p.m.
A small music box, eh? So this photographic print is a redemption ticket.
13th February. That can be significant. It was just 2 days ago before the murder of the omnibus, wasn't it?
Small box. Doesn't tell us much, does it?
Bruno, if Mr. McGill still had the ticket, then presumably he have never redeemed the article. So you think the box might still be present somewhere in the shop?
Ah, yeah. It's something Mr. McGill deposited. We need to investigate. A redemption ticket issued from the pawnbrokery owned by the victim, Mr. Windibank, in the form of some handwritten notes on the back of a photograph. Proprietor of pawnbrokery on Baker Street that's regular patronized by Mr. Sholmes. He was shot dead by an unknown assailant. No hat. Great lover of fish and chips. What if I show you the, wrong button. Nota. Wait. That's strange. Where's my armband gone? What's the problem? Something wrong? Don't suppose... You looking for this? How'd you take that while in cell? Yes, but how? And when? And how again?
Got talent for it, haven't I? David.
That's bordering on black magic. It makes what I was about to say about my armband seem a little dull.
Well, you want to tell me about it, then?
If I give it again... It's gone again! Fast rolling coin. Bob. Hi there.
This is where it happened then. Last night?
That's right. Two thugs I told you about were obviously ransacking the place looking for valuables.
But apart from the policeman here, you wouldn't know anything had happened.
There's no sign of disturbance. What are you talking about? No, you're right about that, actually.
In fact, if anyone, it's the police who seem to be the ones doing the ransacking.
I know what you mean. I like a gang of organized criminals all dressed in black.
Oi! I heard that!
There's only one person. Yeah, there's only one person that could be. Oh, Inspector. Good morning.
I suppose I'll thank you for your vigilance last night. We all seemed forced disturbed at least. Shame you let those two rogues get away, man.
Yes, I'm sorry about that.
I thought you'd assign extra men to the beat around here, Gregsy. Now look what's happened. Harley's been injured because there weren't enough police on duty.
You're late, Chef! No one told me you were coming.
I expect you to take full responsibility for what happened to Hurley and see it as the very best medical care.
Oh, of course, your ladyship. The various doctors in the capital are attending him as we speak.
And I don't think it's Reno's fault that the roast managed to get away, is it? Chasing criminals is the police's job.
Absolutely, your ladyship. As you say, ma'am. As you say. The Gin in Black's totally blameless. Everyone's in agreement about that.
Would you believe it? He's like a completely different person with Iris. Talk about personality change.
Where am you, matters? Are you thirsty, ladyship? Perhaps you'd like some juice? Some nice, refreshing fruit juice.
Oh, why? Are you thirsty, Gregsy? I have some of my special herbal tea with me, if you'd like some.
Ah, lovely. Not very much. That really hit the spot, your ladyship.
I don't even recognize him like this.
I need something salty. I need salt.
Hi there, sir. The police are scouring every inch of this place by the looks of it.
Instruction from the author to examine every article in the shop and every legend of book accounts.
Every article, but that's a ridiculous amount of work, surely?
We've been hard at it ever since the shop was declared a crime scene in the early hours. We're sifting through all it in shifts at least, but still. We'll be working through the night, that's for sure. And even then, we'll barely have scratched the surface.
Crime not pawnbrokers. Must be every policeman's worst nightmare.
It's every copper's worst nightmare, you know, a crime out of pawnbrokers.
Well, I was right, at least.
Alright then, let's see what we can uncover.
Oi! What do you think you're doing, Sunshine? You can't touch anything in here.
Oh, but we were hoping to investigate.
This is a crime scene, for Pete's sake. No touching.
What's the problem, Gregsy? Reno's a lawyer, you know that.
Oh, I'm ever so sorry, your ladyship. Ever so sorry. The rules and regulations are thorn in my side. Of course, if Mr. Darrow was to have been properly appointed by the accused, that'd be another matter.
The accused?
If you could show me some representation papers, I'd be only too happy to let you nose around.
Did you hear that, Runo? You need Guinea to sign some representation papers.
It was like presenting the detective here with the correct paperwork is the only way around it. So, how's the investigation going here, Inspector?
Nothing to it, really. It's a very simple case, this is. Some very definitive evidence. We're just about to charge that diver we arrested last night, in fact.
Gina, you're going to charge her?
That's right. Should be able to bring it before the judge at the Bailey tomorrow.
Definitive evidence, you say? What is it? Come on, show me.
Your ladyship, as much as I wish I could oblige you, I'm afraid...
I see. You've already captured the pair of thugs who broke in here last night, have you?
What the...
And you're going to put them on the stand as witnesses, are you?
Ow! How could you... Ow! My vision chips! How could you possibly know that?
I had a feeling. That's all.
Remind me never to try to keep a secret from Iris. So you've arrested the two men who shot Mr. Sholmes, have you?
Well, yes. They were rounded up pretty quickly by the lads on the beat.
And Miss Lestrade is being held at the prison?
She should be. That's assuming she hasn't lifted the key from the jailer, of course. My fish and chips are endless.
Can you tell us anything about Mr. Sholmes? What's his condition?
Sorry, I'm not at liberty to divulge that information. Scotland Yard matters are strictly confidential.
Well, I know he's being operated at St. Sinners. Why can't I see him? I'm family, you know.
I'm terribly sorry, your ladyship. It's the hospital policy. No visit at all.
Oh.
The bullet must have hit an artery in his midriff. He's lost a fair bit of blood.
Oh no.
He didn't seem too bad in the first hour or so, but a hemorrhage like that is enough to make even the one and only Sholmes pipe down.
Mr. Sholmes is a human like the rest of us, you know.
Well, anyway, he's having emergency surgery right now. They gotta stop that bleeding.
But He will be alright, won't he? They'll be able to make him better?
Of course, your ladyship. You'll be right as rain before you know it.
Really? How do you know?
How do I know? Because, of course, I guess because Mr. Sholmes is such a great detective, that's why.
We better pray the doctors have a better grasp of what's needed to make someone well again.
Oh dear, please don't die early.
I'll report to your ladyship the moment I hear he's out of the operating theater.
I couldn't help but noticing, Inspector.
What? How is it, sunshine?
Well, there seems to be a marked difference between the way you talk to me and Iris.
What's the sauce, Sonny? I'm a copper. We don't go in for favoritism.
But he's right, you do treat us differently.
It's because of those adventures of Sherlock Holmes stories, that's why. Oh.
I crop up in them, don't I? Inspector Tobias Gregson.
Oh well, yes, because you're an acquaintance of Hurley's.
What did you write about the Inspector, Iris?
I don't remember, really.
It was one of Sholmes' lines. Gregson's as smart as Scotland Yarders. That's how you put it.
Did I write that?
And you know what that one line did for me, eh? The very next month, my pay doubled. Doubled, I tell you.
Oh, amazing.
All because everyone at the yard reads them. They read all the Sherlock Holmes stories. They even set up a fan club for me.
Of course, that explains everything. It was around that time that you became such a toady to me.
Can you blame me? All it takes is for one bad word from you and Sholmes could change his tune about me. Gregson? No, the great detective will say. He's getting quite overrated these days. Now, think what would happen to my salary if that came out in print, huh? The whole thing gives me the willies. I can't tell you how many nights of sleep I've lost worrying about it.
But that would never happen, Gregsy.
Every month when the new Rants magazine comes out, my hands are trembling as I turn the pages.
Oh, how awful for you. Here, have some of my tea to settle your nerves.
Lovely. Thank you very much. That really hit the spot, your ladyship.
Teetotal.
Oh, yeah. There's something I was supposed to talk to you about, actually, Miss Nardo.
Yeah? What is it?
I got an important message for you. I cleaned for our bags now.
Important message? Wonder what it could be. What you got to tell me, Greggy? Are you going to tell me what this important message is, then, Inspector?
Yeah, it's about that young lady who's normally by your side, your assistant.
Dear Susie, she alright?
She's at the station.
She's at the station, isn't she? Being questioned, I believe?
Nope, not anymore. She had to head off.
Head off? Where?
Lord Stronghouse office, of course. He's summoned her.
Ah, yeah, of course. I forgot about that.
One of the whipstocks took her there in a yard carriage after we'd finished operating it, questioning her. But she asked us to tell you she didn't have the fare for the journey return and to go meet her there. She's got a nerve using Scotland Yard as a blooming messaging service.
I see. Well, thank you for passing that on, Inspector.
Why'd Susie have to go see Lord Chief Justice?
She didn't tell me. But I'd better head over to Lord Chief Justice's office to fetch her straight away. Thanks, Greggs. Mr. Whirlwind Man. Yeah. No matter how many times I come here, I always get the same sense of oppressiveness somehow.
Do you think the place is oppressive? I think it's normal.
How so?
I mean, look at all Look at that suit of armor over there. You can't take that seriously, can you?
Maybe it thinks the same about you. So everything is clear. I assume this is going to be him. So everything is clear with regard to tomorrow's arrangements, I trust.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yep, had a feeling. There they are. It's just our son and Lord Strongheart.
I wonder what they're talking about. They both look very serious.
Very good. There's nothing further to discuss. You may return to your lodgings. No doubt you have much to do in preparation for your return to your homeland. Wait, what did you just say? Your return to your homeland? Susawa-san!
Oh, Mr. Naruhodo.
What was that all about? Ah, Mr. Naruhodo. Thank you for coming to collect your colleague. What's this all about? Why were you talking about Miss Sa's return to her homeland? And tomorrow?
Tomorrow? But what about Ginny's trial? You mean... she's been formally charged now? Oh dear.
Mr. Sato, what's this all about? Hold on. Ow.
Oh, please don't concern yourself, Mr. Naruhodo. It's only me going back to Japan. Your life here can continue, just as it...
That's not what I asked!
What happened? Why are you leaving? It's my father. He's fallen ill. Oh no!
Professor Mikotoba? If I may. Yes, sorry. You must be the defendant. Miyanosuke Naruhodo, I believe. Yes, that's right. My name is Yujin Mikotoba. I'm a professor of forensic medicine at Yume University. We received an international telegram from the Empire of Japan informing us of the news.
10 days ago, my father collapsed with a fever. The cause is apparently unknown. It seems he grows weaker by the day.
I don't believe it. As you are aware, the voyage from here to your country's capital, Tokyo, takes some 50 days. I thought it would be prudent to hasten Miss Usa's departure as much as possible. Yes, absolutely.
I will leave London first thing tomorrow morning. I can't believe this is happening. So Gina has been charged? She'll have to appear in court?
Yeah, she was formally charged a few hours ago, and the day of the trial has already been set for tomorrow.
No, not even 24 hours later.
Gina? Ah, the Lestrade girl and the murder of the Baker Street pawnbroker, yes. All in too conspicuous a case. The pickpocket was clearly disturbed mid-robbery and shot the man in a panic. No, the odd is overstretched as it is without wasting time on these open and shut cases.
It's not wasting time. Jane would never do something like that.
Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes, Lord Strongheart? In deference of your fine services today, I shall overlook this young girl's insolence, but I have no recollection of admitting a child into my office. Leave. Now.
Of course, Lord Strongheart.
Criminals will tell the most palpable of lies in order to evade justice. The police can ill afford the time it takes to unravel all their untruths. Meanwhile, more crimes are perpetrated. We have far more serious matters for which to contend. Serious matters? Didn't Gregson say something like that yesterday?
Yes, Inspector Gregson made a similar remark yesterday.
It's no concern of yours. Though, I'm sure I need not remind you of that. 3 minutes precisely until my next meeting. You must excuse me. There's just one more thing, Lord Strongheart. Which is? It's Miss Lestrade's trial. I wonder if you might permit me to defend her. A timely suggestion. Sorry? The girl currently has no representation.
But that's not fair. Yes, she may be a pickpocket, but she still deserves a fair trial.
Do not misunderstand me, young lady. The government provides for those too poor to afford representation with a public defender. The accused need only sign the relevant paperwork, and the defense barrister will be assigned to the case. However, the young girl in question has refused that right.
Why would she do that?
A question you would do well to direct at Miss Lestrade. You'll find her at the local prison. Yes, thank you. Now then, it's time I was leaving. Good day to you. What a day. Gina charged with murder. Susawa-san about to leave.
Come, Mr. Naruhodo. Iris, we must make haste. But, Susie... You're leaving for Japan tomorrow morning, aren't you? Don't you have packing and things to do? As Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant, my personal circumstances are of no consequence. My sole purpose remains to help you in whatever way I can.
Thank you, Mr. Sato. That's a very pensive look.
I think we ought to visit Gina first. In any case, I would like to wish her well before I leave. Yes, that sounds like a good idea. Let's go.
If I'm honest, this is completely throwing me off. I'll just have to do what I can as a lawyer. Oi! Oi! Ah! Hello again, Gina. Stop loading up your gun every time. Also, does this imply that in the time between meeting you and does that imply that in between the last time we saw you and now that you shot someone and had to reload it now?
What are you all here for now?
To have the muzzle of that grenade launcher shoved in our faces yet again, obviously.
I think I need to improve the way you load the ammunition to that thing, don't I? Look! You can come as many times as you like, but I ain't got nothing more to say to you. Gina, I wonder if you might hear me out. There's something I'd like to say.
What?
I'm sorry to say that I must reluctantly bid you farewell.
Eh?
Farewell? Tomorrow, I must begin my journey back home, to Japan. I fear we may never meet again. Oh, right. I've had the pleasure of meeting so many lovely people here in London. I have so many wonderful memories. And yet, as things stand now, it will be a glum parting indeed. Poor Iris is so miserable. Susie... Well, that ain't my business. Both Iris and Mr. Naruhodo believe you to be innocent, Gina. They put their faith in you. But somehow, you can't find it in your heart to put your faith in them. Yeah, that's right, I can't. What of it? It grieves me greatly to have to say goodbye to my friends when they are so clearly unhappy. Because of you. What? It's my fault. Yes. So I have one final request, Gina, before our paths never cross again. Right here and now. I want you to show both of them that you don't deserve the faith that they've invested in you. Only by doing that will you truly be as alone as you claim to be. What are you talking about? What do you expect me to do, eh? You've told us that everyone lies. So prove it by admitting one of your own untruths. What about what you said before, Ginny? You said something about unforgivable lies. You must tell Mr. Naruhodo and Iris the truth now. That is my last request before I leave. My last request as a judicial assistant. No, I can't. Whatever these lies are, they're obviously weighing very heavily on Gina's mind. Gina, I could be wrong, but it is something to do with what happened 2 months ago. Something about that trial. The one in which Magnus McGilded was acquitted. The case of that mysterious murder that took place inside the omnibus. You were called as a witness by the prosecution. Is that what this is about? Yeah, you're right. Because in that trial, I lied. I lied like you wouldn't believe it. Will you tell us about it now? Like you said, it all happened 2 months ago. The coppers got hold of me and shoved me in the witness stand.
And based on your testimony, Mr. McGilded was declared innocent.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I lied about a whole bunch of stuff.
I knew it.
What sort of thing did you lie about? I was hiding under the seat that night. That was the truth. It was pitch black in that little cubbyhole. I couldn't see a thing, and then I heard the loud thud, like someone falling on the floor.
And that's when Mr. McGill discovered you.
Yeah. He pulled me out from under the seat and set me next to the dead man. There weren't much light to see by, but when I looked at my hands, I had the cove's blood all over them. I was so scared, I couldn't even speak.
You has blood on your hands. In other words, it was Gina that the witness on the roof deck saw through the skylight. Then Mr. McGill had started asking you questions, I suppose. Who you were, and why you were hiding under the seat.
Yeah, he did, only that's not all.
What do you mean?
I mean, he threatened me.
Threaten you how?
He made me swear about what I'd seen and what I heard, and about what he's going to do after the coat was found dead. He made me swear I wouldn't tell no one about any of it. If I did that, he said he'd let me scarp before the coppers showed up.
Gina, you must tell me what he swore you used secrecy about. What you saw, what you heard, everything. You said Mr. McGilded made you swear to not tell anybody about what you saw. But you were in the pitch black compartment under the seat the whole time, weren't you?
Yes, with Mr. McGill sitting above your head, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that's true, but it was when I heard the thud of the cove sit in the floor. I let out a scream, see? Couldn't help it. McGill heard that and dragged me up by my arm, and that's when I saw it. It was on the floor next to the old geezer where I'd been stabbed. A disc, all bright and shiny. A disc? Do you mean... Yeah, that's it. The one what the D took off me at Window Banks. So the music box discs was there on the floor of the omnibus. Not for long, McGill spotted it straight away. Picked it up smartish and stuffed it inside his pocket. So that disc was in the omnibus 2 months ago, to see in Mr. Mason's murder. And the bog trotter told me. I went to mutter a word of it to no one.
What'd you hear?
Cause it's so dark under that seat in the cab. I was straining my ears the whole time. After a while, I heard the door and footsteps inside the cabin.
Presumably that was McGilded getting on board.
Nah, not only him.
Oh!
Cause I could definitely make out the footsteps of two people. And In that case, it would seem likely that it was Mr. McGilden the victim.
Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason.
In his testimony during the trial, Mr. McGilden claimed that he slept during the carriage ride.
But whenever I'm in a carriage, I'm taken with a fierce tiredness, and I'll succumb to it.
In your own testimony, Gina supported his. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring. Yeah, that weren't exactly true. Neither of them was asleep. I could hear them talking the whole time in low voices. What? What were they talking about? Sorry, I don't know. The sound of the horses and the wheels was too loud. But that still tells us something. Mr. McGilden and the victim knew each other.
So McGilden was lying, as I suspected.
I knew it wasn't going to take long before someone raised the alarm that the bloke had been killed. Yes, you were quite right. The other passengers on the roof deck noticed very quickly. So when the cab came to a stop, McGilden told me to hide back under the seat again. I climbed in and waited. Two coves from up top ran off to get the coppers. Yeah, Mr. Fairplay and Mr. First. Right, and after they'd gone, Mr. McGilden asked the driver to do him a favor.
A favor?
Now then, fella, all I need you to do is take this coat of mine and deposit it with a nearby pawnbroker. And for your troubles, let's see now, I'll give you 10 guineas. A nearby pawnbroker? You mean on Baker Street? Yep, you got it. It was Windibanks. The coachee snapped up the money and ran off to pop the coat as fast as he could. And there was no one left in the carriage. Mr. McGilden opened the box under the seat and let me get out of there, but not without conditions. I see.
What were Mr. McGilden's conditions then? For letting you go free, I mean.
Not telling a soul. Not for anything. About what I saw and what I heard. And there was something else as well.
There's more.
Yeah. This is the most important thing, he said. I'm gonna have to send the coachman on a little errand for me with some small change in his hand. Now then, did you hear what I asked him? Did you see anything at all? Yes, I asked him to go pop your these, alright? Aye, the fiend's taken me overcoat to deposit with a pawnbroker hereabouts. Now I want you, lass, to take the redemption ticket for it. Do you understand? Well, you only have the ticket. That's right, and I'll come fetch it for you later. Sometime within the next 2 months. You ought to hang on to that until then. Is that clear? And whatever you do, don't lose it. Alright then. And in any case, I might happen to be delayed at all. You're to go to the pawn shop, Windibanks, so it is, and you're to extend the loan for the 2 months is up. If you forget, the article will be forfeited, and any old fiend could come along and buy it. But I ain't got that kind of brass. It's £5. That should be enough. Do we understand each other, lass? Don't try any funny business now. If you go against me... Yeah, I get it. Good. And one more thing. In a few days from now, I'll be visited by the police, no doubt. The coppers? Aye. They'll come asking you to take the stand in court to testify as a witness. So let's just have a wee chat about that, shall we? What is it that you might say, and what is it that you want? After you'd gone over it all, I packed it. I got away as far as I could. You hear the pawnbroker sticking some bush near our scene. I went to fish the next day once it got dark.
So McGilden planned it and coerced Gina into giving false testimony.
bet you're ready to string me up, eh? I lied. In that big old courtroom, I told some corkers. The thing is, he said he would make it so we couldn't live in the East End no more. That's what he threatened me with. What a wicked man. I knew everything and what was going on in the back slums. He knew we had no one look after us, and we was all just looking out for each other, getting by together. So you mean Mr. McGilda would have, in a heartbeat, he would have had the lot of us chased out of there if he wanted. And then we would have, then where could we have gone, eh? Nowhere, that's where. So, I didn't have no choice.
Thank you, Gina, for telling us everything.
But I'm for it now, eh? Go on, admit it. You must be livid.
Well, you can make amends by doing me a simple favor.
A favor? What?
Sign the representation papers for tomorrow's trial. If you don't actually want me to represent you in court, you can rip it all up later. But we need that paperwork or we can't investigate. The police won't let us.
Investigate what?
The scene of the incident last night. Mr. Sholmes was shot, you see.
You what? Hurley's having a big operation right now, Ginny. Is it bad? Is he gonna be alright? Sholmes is gonna be alright, right?
That's why I want to investigate, for Mr. Sholmes' sake as much as anything.
Right. So what you're saying is, if I sign that bit of paper, everyone's happy. Is that it?
Something like that. Mr. Sato?
Yes, of course. I have the representation papers here. I don't need no one to stick up for me, though. No lawyer, nothing. Poor Ginny. She seems so lonely.
Gina's representation papers. The paperwork signed by Gina to put me in charge of her defense. Showing this to Scotland Yard detectives gains us access to this crime scene. Well, at least this should mean we can investigate the scene at Windibanks now.
Yes. Perhaps we can come back to visit Ginny when we're done there.
I feel like we finally cracked Gina. She's opened up to us at last. And now I have her representation papers. No one else knows what a responsibility that is. Anyway, for now it means Inspector Gregson can't stop us investigating at Windibanks. Although, something tells me he's not going to be happy about it. To be continued! Let's go ahead and save it here, and then let's end that for today. Alright. I don't really know how to end this, so let's just go ahead and say thank you all for watching, and see you later. Bye.